Hey everybody, welcome back to Escape Reality Star Wars Talk. I'm your host Caleb.
Hi, I'm Seth. I talk Star Wars with this man.
There you go, you made it. You were like, for a second you had a delay.
Yeah, I was thinking about my life for a second.
Oh, that's
It's a really bad time to zone out. So, what are you doing? I'm disassociating for a minute.
I'm reflecting on life. I'm having a existential crisis in the middle of our podcast. Everything good?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not perfect. Far from it, but it's not the worst.
Okay. I was gonna say.
Try spinning. That's a good trick.
That's the new button. That's the new button. I was about to announce it. She already knew about it though, because it was her idea. That was Buttercup. She didn't know what I was gonna do with it. She just said, "Hey, do a button that does that is satisfactory." She said, "Do a button that's like, that has the spin me right round song," and I was like, "Okay," and I went through some ideas, and that was my initial idea immediately. The other one was a little more complicated, which is why I haven't done it, and that is to actually have the whole stream turn.
I feel like one of these was easier to do than the other.
Yes, which is why I did the easier one. The other one is going to take me some time and research to figure out how to make that happen, where when somebody hits a button on Twitch's end, that it causes this side of things to react. Because that button is at least on the Twitch end. That's all in Twitch. I don't have to do a thing on our software side that we stream from. But yeah, that's where we are with that. Also, I guess that means I don't have to snap you because I do the we're live snap. I don't have to snap Buttercup. I usually direct snap people that I know watch. There was another person. But yeah, so everything's good. You were saying,
Yeah, it's fine.
Just general life stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I gotcha. Well, in that case, not much has been going on with me. What have I done this week? That's interesting. Just been playing more Tamagotchi. Almost have all the Mafia 1 characters I want in there. I only need one more. Mm-hmm. I just got to put Detective Norman in. I now have Tommy's wife in there. They are now a couple. Because, unfortunately, so in Tamagotchi, the thing that kind of pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make people family members when you make them, right? You can go, oh, this person is related to this person, and you actually have, the way they're related. So,
okay.
Spouse of, or partners of, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Child of, parent of, right? Grandparent of. You can do all that. But they don't start off as those things. They start off as strangers when you build them.
Mm.
So then they have to reconnect and then get to that point.
Oh.
And it's well, what's the point of me doing that if they're not going to be set up that way from the start? Especially spouse of. I feel like you should be in the same house already and I don't have to... No, instead right now Tommy's living with... It makes sense, actually. He's living with Sammy and Paulie.
Mm.
Which makes sense, because they are buddies until things happen in the first game. Till things happen revolving Paulie and a little bit of Sammy going on. If you never played Mafia 1, it's good game. All the Mafia games are good games. I can't speak for the newest one, which is a prequel to all of them. Because I guess you can't really go forward from 3. Mafia has now hit the point that Red Dead has hit within its first game. Mm-hmm. Second game. Because Redemption is the second game. But it hit the problem that Red Dead hit as soon as Red Dead Redemption came out, which is, hey, we've hit the end of the Wild West. Now what? How do we do a sequel? Well, we do a prequel. Mafia hit that point with 3, because the third game is in the 70s. And while, yes, you can tell Mafia stories in the modern day, that's not the charm of the Mafia games. And so, the newest game takes place before the first game, in like it takes place in like the 1901 or whatever. Because the first game is 1930s, is when the majority of the game takes place. Second game is majority 1950, like 40s to 50s.
Okay.
And then the third one is 70s. So, because the second one you start off at the end of, in the middle of World War II, because you were drafted. Well, you were forced to draft because you got arrested for breaking it, and they're like, well, hey, there's a draft going on, and we need some Italians to go to Italy, people that understand the language. So,
boy, I don't speak Italian.
Except he does. Our boy in 2 does. 2 was my first one, though, of those games. Mafia 2 was my first. I played that on PC. And then Mafia 1, I tried to play the original one. So buggy. Like, and then they did the definitive edition, which is just a remake. It's just a full remake. It's not like they like when you think definitive edition, you think, oh, they just scaled it up. It's just a remaster. No, they did a full remake. And then 3 is good as well. But so after that, I've been requested to put some people I know into Tamagotchi, into my game. So. And I learned that you can have multiple islands, but in order to have multiple islands, you have to use multiple accounts on your Switch. So you basically have to make a new account, and then... So I'm not doing that. I'm just like, okay, we're all just going to live on the island with the Mafia guys. It's going to be great. But because I put family members of the main characters in as well, like family members that have names, right? That includes characters that aren't main characters now. And so now it's like, oh, well, this main character is now falling for the daughter of this main character because it can happen because they're both adults. And, it's like, because romances just randomly happen. And, and you can just say yeah or no. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't care. Go for it.
There'll be no consequences to this.
Of course, once I get all of the Mafia 1 characters in, I'm just going to reset it to where everybody that doesn't have a canonical spouse is completely bi and pan and open to whatever relationship, because then the chaos really can ensue. Making sure the canon relationships exist first, and then I can just open the gateway to everything. Because that's what Tamagotchi is about, is like... We don't care about the canon. We want to see what chaos can ensue from the personalities of characters we know. But that's really it for me. Although we did get to see an exciting movie this week. I got to see it twice.
Yeah.
It's almost like that's the topic for today or something.
Almost.
I don't know. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. But before we do... There is a little bit of Star Wars news.
I don't get to talk about.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. What have you been up to? I'm sorry. I'm jumping the gun.
Yeah. First off, for me, going to work was miserable.
Yesterday or
yesterday?
Okay, yeah, because of the storm.
Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was a rather unpleasant walk. More of a swim, if you would. Now,
so I have questions about why you walked, considering you had people in town that could have taken you.
So here's the thing, right? I thought about that, And then I realized, like, oh, she's been out all night partying. Because she has friends down here too, and I didn't want to bother her. And Andrew and my brother had already left.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll just deal with it.
And I was already at work.
Yeah. And I was like, about halfway, I didn't think it was going to rain that heavy, and I was like, oh, just a little hoodie would be fine. My fucking mistake. The one time I was like, maybe I should wear the dumbass trench coat that I have today. That would definitely have helped. No, didn't make that decision. So instead I was like, a regular hoodie will more than do it. No. No, it didn't.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad yesterday.
Yeah. Still got to work, did my shift. I did get a ride home from Mom, which caused us to be late, because I'm an idiot and forgot to tell you.
Yeah, so because like the original plan for yesterday was I picked you up from work and we went straight to the movie because we watched the movie yesterday for Mandalorian and Grogu. So the plan was originally I pick you up from work, we go straight there because you don't have a vehicle, therefore I pick you up.
Yes.
Also, it looks like it's going to rain today as well.
Oh.
It was already thundering when we left.
Yeah.
Today, when I picked you up. Yeah, and so, like, then I get there.
And I'm not there.
Yeah, and I actually got there. I went there ahead because I was like, oh, he's probably going to be, like, as soon as because it was already, like, 6, and I was like, I should just, or it was 5:30, and I was like, I should start heading there.
Yeah.
And so, about an hour later, our movie's at 7, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's 6:30ish, and you text me, hey, do I need to get the ticket? I go, nope, I got them. You go, cool. I go, I'm almost there. Thinking you're still at, like, because you said you get off at 5:30 if all goes well. So my thought is, oh, things might not be going well because he didn't tell me to start heading over to work yet. So he must still be at work. The benefit of that is I did eat dinner. I went to Sonic before the movie. So I had Sonic, and then I had popcorn and drink.
Dude, everything has just been off this week for me.
But because Mama Brantley's in town, she picked you up, and
yeah, I got Fusaklis.
You got Fusaklis.
The best.
Sonic is also good. I got a classic for me, the footlong coney dog. Although I didn't get my usual chili cheese tots. I usually get. I went with the fries. I kept it a little simpler to yesterday, but I usually get the chili cheese footlong coney dog, and then your chili cheese tots, and then in this case root beer zero, I got a vanilla Coke Zero. That's what I got.
Surprisingly, I don't go to Sonic a lot.
Sonic's pretty good. You got I like their their burgers a little bit. Chicken strips I'm not as big of a fan of. But it's not the worst chicken. My least favorite chicken is Wendy's. At least in like nugget form, like in a sandwich form, Wendy's can make a good chicken. But for some reason their nuggets are, they've always been rubbery to me.
I can't trust Wendy's anymore.
Because they messed up your order,
especially not the one
near G&G, because they messed up your order a couple times.
Yeah, I'm like, it is so simple. How did you fuck this up? Yeah,
because you asked for a plain burger. That is the Seth.
It's meat, bread, cheese, nothing else.
No toppings, just
They're
meat,
like,
bread,
are you
cheese.
sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. Why would I? Like, look, I understand you're either really old and this is your last job, or you're a teenager, or this is your first job,
or the economy sucks and therefore you're just stuck here. Whether you're in,
regardless.
Yeah.
Stop fucking up my order. I don't. Even if you do fuck it up, I'm just not gonna bother you again. I'm gonna do what a proper capitalist does and leave.
Yeah.
No more business for you.
But yeah.
On a lighter note,
Yeah.
of me on...
What have you been up to?
Yes. Evil West. Beaten.
Yay!
Fun game. I beat it in 2 days. I'm New Game Plusing it right now, and I'm halfway through it again.
I finished Diablo 4.
No more hot demon lady!
No, and now, actually, you know what? I have a whole new outlook on Lilith after the game. Because Lilith seems like the bad guy for most of 4. And then you kill her. And then the events of the DLCs happen. And of course, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man, with Mephisto for both of those DLCs? And then she, in the second one, in the the new DLC, so spoilers, because it's been about a month, almost, since it came out. She helps you.
Mm-hmm.
She's the reason you're able to defeat Mephisto. She literally gives you the key to do it, and then sacrifices herself. On a permanent scale, not the usual Diablo demon way of, oh, I died, I go back to hell.
I'll be back in 3,000 years.
Not even, honestly, like 50, if we're being honest with Diablo.
A mild inconvenience of death.
And then on top of that, your solution for Mephisto is a little bit more permanent than usual. We now have another way to prevent demons from returning that don't include the stupid soul stones that don't work. Because every time we put them in a soul stone, it's always corrupt and then causes more problems than it
solves.
Yeah. Name a time a soul stone has worked in Diablo. Do it. I dare you. There's none.
I haven't played enough Diablo to...
There's none. There's no time a soul stone has worked. Yet every time they're like, we gotta use a soul stone and put the demon in there, because if we just kill them, they're going to go back to hell. And it's like, well, yeah. But also, when you put it in a soul stone, the soul stone gets corrupt, and then usually that corrupts the person carrying it.
Why do people keep injecting themselves with soul stones?
Because they get corrupted by its influence just being around it, not even...
You know, maybe we should take a page out of, like... I know it didn't actually solve the problem, right? Maybe we take a page from Lord of the Rings and chuck that shit into a river.
Yeah, that one didn't work, though. You gotta put it into where it came from.
Yeah, I know, but like...
But also, you can't destroy a soul stone, otherwise then you're releasing...
Yeah, so into the ocean it goes.
But then you're corrupting them.
The ocean's already corrupt as shit, man. I don't know if you know this.
You're corrupting the life around it, and you end up with an entire village that's corrupted, you know.
Ah, great.
That, you know, it causes more problems that way than it solves. The world of Diablo, man.
Fuck. I understand you're a horde-based video game isometric, so...
Fantasy.
Yeah.
Dark fantasy. More than horror. It's more dark fantasy.
Yeah. I've never been scared during Diablo, actually, come to think of it.
Yeah, it's just dark fantasy, really. But no, and so, like, it made me reflect on it, and I'm like, is Lilith really that bad of a person? I guess not. She was a demon, but not evil. Complicated, but not evil. Did she want to rule all of, I'm trying to remember the name, Sanctuary? Yes, but also she helped create Sanctuary, so, like, because her and an angel banged and had the entire world come into existence from that.
Well, good for her.
Grandma? No, she considers herself mom. So, mom, I made that joke during the stream.
God damn it, mom.
I was making the joke that Mephisto is grandpa. By that logic, because Mephisto is her dad.
Yeah, that would make him grandpa. God damn it.
Mephisto is grandpa.
Grandpa, why couldn't you just be cool for once? No, grandson. I don't know what he sounds
You went with
like.
the Palpatine.
Yeah.
He sounds more like Vitiate in SWTOR.
No.
Yeah, he's more like Vitiate, yeah. Which is why it's very funny to me that they're both basically the same to me in the how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man, of coming back to life? Because Vitiate is the same deal. Vitiate, Valkorian, whatever name you want to call him by, Tenebrae. The man goes by 5 billion names. And has like 6 different bodies.
I'm so tired of your...
One of which is a
bullshit.
human, which is very funny considering... This is a SWTOR rant now. Considering that he is a Sith race originally. That was what he was born as. He was a Sith race. He existed during the time of Freedon... of the whole... before Freedon Ad. During the Nagasato stuff. 5000 BBY. Because Legends timeline. And so he was around during all that stuff, during the Tales of the Jedi stuff, when the Sith basically came back into known space and were like, hey, we exist, we're a thing, because at the time Sith, it would have been just Dark Jedi. Nobody knew that Sith were a thing until Nagasato showed up with a warship and was like, hey, so now all those Dark Jedi that splintered from you created an empire called the Sith, named after, like the Sith race that they found on Korriban, that they then did imperialistic, conquering things that you do as an empire. Things I don't think we can say on the channel. Which is why there's half Sith people. Half human, half Sith. And so, which is what Nagasato is. He's like not pure blood Sith because of that. But also at this time, this is when not being pure blood is actually higher than being pure blood, and then by the time of SWTOR, it's the opposite, where if you're pure blood Sith, you're actually higher on the hierarchy than a non-pure blooded Sith.
Oh boy.
But also, fascist imperialistic governments are going to fascist imperialistic government. And so... Yeah, so he's been around for that long, which is why he switches bodies so much. And then he ends up, because he figures out the thing that Plagueis and Palpatine wanted to figure out, which is, how do we live forever? And it's, you jump bodies. Which Bane also learns in the Darth Bane trilogy. Like, he learns it in the 3rd book. And that's, like, his plan in order to not lose to his apprentice Xana. Because, like, obviously he has now established the rule of 2 by this point. So Xana's like, well, obviously I gotta kill my master because that's the way it goes.
That's how you designed this.
That's you built it. This was your idea. This was your idea. And so he's like, well, but what if I just take over your body instead?
No.
I don't like that.
That's not how we do things. I'm supposed to get stronger and kill you, and you die and stay that way.
Which the book, spoilers for a book that's like not quite 20 years old, but getting like it's like 15 or so. Darth Bane, Dynasty of Evil. A little bit more. It's 17 years old. So, a book that's 17. Spoilers for a book that's 17 years old. It ends with Xana winning, of course, but they try to tease a little bit that maybe she didn't because her hand starts to twitch in a way that Bane's used to when he was alive because of like his illnesses that he had at that point, because he. At that point, had twisted his body a bit up with trying to find ways to live. And also, because in Rule of 2, he's poisoned, and from there, he's, like, always got that sickness, because he gets rid of most of it, but, like, he's got a little bit of it still flowing to where it's, like, it's just something it's an illness he lives with for the rest of the series. It's been a while since I've read those books. We'll eventually go to those together, but, like... 1 is my favorite because it's the whole. I like the whole. Let's explore Sith Academy trope and that's really what most of the first book is. And then it becomes, how does Bane trick the other Sith into killing themselves, essentially, so that way he can establish his rule of 2.
So, Evil West.
Yes, Evil West.
Oh man, I like punching undead.
Yeah. I think we talked about that last time.
Very simple set.
In fact, I have a clip of that is going to go up at some point on TikTok.
Which do I hate
it's
more?
It's you talking about the electric punch of vampires.
Yes. That's
getting to punch electricity in the face of a vampire.
Mm-hmm. So, I get one of the things though where I'm like, damn, poor comic relief character in this video game.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah. So, Virgil Olney is the name of the character. It's like, he's like, man, I really love tinkering with the gauntlet, and I get to hang out with a field agent and the guy who invented it, and sometimes go out on missions to like help improve it. And it's like, oh, that's alright, that's cool, man. And so once we get to Act 3, right, it's time to shoo out the clowns. So, he don't make it. And I'm like, alright. You know, this keeps happening to me, where I'm like, before I was gonna kick your ass because it needed to be done. Now
you've hurt somebody
you've hurt somebody. And the fucked up part is, right, the main antagonist gets your character's dad as well, right? Not in the, like, because vampires get big, you know what happens with that. Now, the game has a very established, like, the policy for the Rentier Institute of, like, if someone is bit, you put them down. However, we're like, because our protagonist is like, well, I don't want to kill my dad for various reasons. One of which is he's my dad. The second of which is he's currently the head of the Institute. And one of our most experienced members. To the point... Also, there's this other character named Harrow. He sucks. Everybody hates him. But he's like the Vice Secretary of War.
Oh, okay. So, kind of important.
Kind of important. I'm glad he gets his comeuppance at the end of the game. Because fuck that guy. He sucked in every way imaginable.
Me and my homies hate that guy.
Yes. I am so glad. Like, the end of the game for that particular character is, we're gonna put you in jail for treason. In the like, mid-1800s.
Ooh. Not great.
Yeah. And a portion of the game is like, yeah, I'm glad that Jesse went to the oil fields to, like, go and help, because there were people there that genuinely needed help.
Yeah.
But fuck you, Harrow, for sending me there, because that means we ignored the big problem that ended up causing the climax of the game. If we hadn't had to go and do that, a lot less people overall would have died. So anyhow, you're going to jail. And so the main antagonist, back to my previous point.
Yeah.
So our engineer's like, oh man, I get to hang out with all these awesome people. And because main antagonist girl is like, yeah, I turned your dad into a vampire. We were like, okay. Your dad's old partner, who helps you throughout the game, is like, well, I'm gonna go and get this flower that is supposed to make a compound that stops it. This game world doubles down on, you can't stop that shit.
Yeah.
And so we get the flower, we make the compound, and Harrow shows up and he is like, so your dad, because another character who also is like, who runs like the local division you had to retreat to, is like lied to cover it up that your dad isn't dead like he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Is like, Harrow finds this out, and Harrow sucks. I cannot stress enough how much this guy sucks.
There's a lot of people that aren't great in this game, it seems.
No, it's just this one guy who I'm like, fuck you in particular. The vampires are like, I don't like you because you keep hurting people close to me.
Because you're vampiring.
Because you're vampiring and you got a vampire, I understand. But also, lore-wise, they also are like, yeah, so there were, like, people who could shift in and out of, like, being, not who could, they didn't have any control over it.
Basically the blood craving, essentially?
No, like, the werewolves for this game.
Oh.
They're like, yeah, used to be they could shift back and forth, but they couldn't control which one.
But now it's...
But the vampires were like, we could help you in exchange for, like, working for us. And they were like, now that you've agreed to work for us forever, we're gonna keep you in wolf mode all the time. And it's like, well, that was a dick move.
I feel like that would be... I feel like that's a violation of the agreement, though, and therefore I shouldn't have to follow the agreement.
Don't care. Already happened. Too late.
I feel like
Grandpa made a deal 4,000 years ago. You're fucked.
But I feel like that is a violation of the agreement, therefore the agreement is null and void.
Yeah, this isn't... What's really weird is the stance where it's like, vampires use magic, right?
Yeah.
But also science in a really weird, like, pathogen way.
So this isn't like
it's a combination of both magic and, like, a bioengineered
So
warfare.
it's not like a magical contract, this is just a contract, and then they said,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like, because I was going to say, if this is like a magical contract binding them to the contract, I feel like that's some bullshit. Because, like, the vampires immediately...
We never get to speak with, I believe they're called a Nagal in this. We never get to speak with one.
So you don't know. Hostile. So you don't know the specifics, I guess. Because I feel like if it's a magical-based contract, it's kind of bullshit that the vampires broke the contract, yet we still have to follow it.
Yeah, they're not exactly in the speaking mood.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like... like, it's a case of, I can understand if it's not like they're not bound to it in any way, but if you're bound to it, I feel like that's hey, they broke the contract, therefore we shouldn't be held to it.
That's the information I have from the lore section of the game.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, they're too busy trying to eat me for a conversation.
Yeah.
Back on the flower.
Yeah.
Because that's the important part. And so we get the flower, we get our dad's old partner out of, like, a nest. Because this game is fun, and I explained it to, like, the rest of the family, since they were watching me play it for a little bit. I was like, oh yeah, this game is fun. I explained the arachnophobia thing, where if you turn it back on, it doubles the spiders. And I was like, and they were like, huh, that didn't really seem to bother you. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm not scared of spiders.
Yeah.
But continuing on, we go and we're like, here you go, Dad. And he's like, I feel great. And so that happens. Through events that happen later, it's assumed that your character kind of, like, dies. And so your dad and the science boy, who is, like, designing gauntlets and shit and being, like, really happy and life is awesome.
Everything is awesome.
Yeah. And after, like, you meet up with your dad's old partner, who has gone to, like, on a revenge quest to avenge you, even though you're not dead.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know that. You go and you meet up with your vampiric informant, a guy by the name of Chester. And we have a conversation, and we're like, well, we don't have to worry about humans turning into vampires anymore, because we have the Rejuve compound you know, the like flower, and he goes, "Hey man, that's not gonna cure shit. That's a suppressant." And it's like, well, what do you mean? It's like, that doesn't stop anything. All a drop, and that's shit is out the window. And it's like, ooh.
It's basically what Blade takes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Except worse, because it doesn't actually stop.
Well, it doesn't stop him either. It just
Yeah.
suppresses the cravings for a little bit.
Yeah, but bread? Who the fuck is Bread? Blade.
Yeah.
Blade's nature is he doesn't need a lot of it, so...
Well, no,
he's damn pure.
he still
gets it.
No. He still needs the blood. That's why Whistler makes the fake blood.
It's been a while since I watched Blade.
That's why he makes it, because he's like, oh no, you still crave it. You just because the whole premise is, you know, he's got all their strengths but none of their weaknesses except he still has the bloodlust cravings. Mm-hmm. That's the only weakness he still has.
He doesn't need it, though. Wanting and needing are two different things.
No, well, what are you... okay, so what are you defining as need and want in this case? Because...
like, he doesn't need the blood to live.
But none of the vampires in the Blade universe need the blood to live.
Then what the fuck are they doing?
Well, they need it because the cravings. It's a.
Yeah, I thought the reason why
they go feral without it.
Okay.
Which we've seen Blade do that in the first movie when he's without the stuff Whistler made.
Yeah, but the stuff Whistler makes, it doesn't have blood in it.
It has, like, some sort of concoction that's similar enough that, like... we never get the details of what's in it.
All I remember... No, you're right. I'm thinking of the fucking garlic juice.
Yeah. Oh, are you thinking of 2 with the garlic?
I'm thinking of the garlic juice.
I think that's 2. Might be 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm. But that turns, and holy shit, when he turns, right?
Mm-hmm.
He, like, fully leads into the, hell yes, this is awesome. It's like, throughout the last level when you're tracking him down, he's like, man, you're really good at this, huh? Imagine how good you could be at this if you, you know, didn't have a human body. A lame one. And it's like, that hasn't stopped me at any point during the game.
Oh, you can keep going.
So, bring it on, Dad. I can see your boss health bar. I wish the game was longer, but, like, for the story that it tells, it's good.
Alright.
Because this is a beat 'em up, there is no romance in this entire game.
Yeah,
I'm glad,
it's
because
fine.
I'm like, there doesn't need to be. Actually, I think it would detract from it.
I can see that.
In essence, go play Evil West. It's a little bit pricier than I think it should be for how short it is, but mechanically and everything
Yeah, it sounds
else,
like it
enjoy
should be like a $30 game.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing it's like 50.
Yeah, 50, 60.
Yeah, it sounds like it should be a 30.
But considering most games nowadays are going for 80.
Yeah, I mean, I guess on that scale. We're going by that
I think it
scale.
was cheaper when it came out.
Yeah.
But, you know, the economy is mildly fucked, as always.
Well, with that, we have spent almost an hour
Yeah.
already. So, let's get into some Star Wars news. First off, this one's going to be simple. Dave Filoni talked a little bit about like the future of Star Wars in terms of films.
Are we going to alternate reading for these?
We can.
Okay.
This one I'm not really reading it. Okay. Like I'm just gonna. He didn't really give a lot. Considering there's not a lot really going forward, he kind of infers that they are working on like what to do in the future, but for now they're in like the planning and architecture phase, not in the long term. Here's what like we've already got. They're not pulling Marvel. Here's our 5-year plan.
Yeah.
They're not at that point right now.
If I see another Marvel movie 5-year plan, I'm gonna throw a brick at something.
Well, it's even worse because they never do the full 5-year plan. They always go, "Oh, actually, this film and this film are cut," and it's like, well, at this point, if you can't confirm that these movies are happening, don't show me.
Yeah.
Like, don't excite me about the Blade movie
if
the Blade movie's not happening.
I don't want another Eclipse trailer situation.
Which people still think that game's happening.
It's not.
If you think Star Wars Eclipse is still going to be a game, boy, do I have a bridge to sell you.
Man. I was going to say...
That is the saying.
No, I was going to make a different... I'm like, man, I know Egypt is a wonderful place, but like, maybe leave that one be.
That one works too, yeah. Both of those are great answers for people who think Star Wars Eclipse is happening.
This is why we're friends.
But KOTOR remake, that's happening.
Hopefully.
There was a piece of news, but this
I used one of my,
his veto powers.
I used one of my veto powers. I don't like to use them that often.
But also, I agreed in this case. Anyways, let's talk about the Dave Filoni thing real quick,
yes.
And then we can... so, basically, we know Mandalorian and Grogu just came out, so that's yay. And then, of course, we know Starfighter's coming out next year in May 28th specifically. But some new information, which fans have speculated on, is happening. We're getting a 50th anniversary remaster of A New Hope. And we're getting a re-release, this is the most exciting one, of the original 1977 film without special edition edits.
Shoot that man under the table.
And both of these are for February 19th of next year, so we're getting those before Starfighter, so we're getting the 50th anniversary remaster and the re-release of the originals. I am curious if they'll release those together, because I feel like that's how that should be packaged. I feel like that should be the 50th anniversary collector's edition, or whatever you want to call it, where you get the remaster if you want to watch the remaster, but you also have the originals as like another disc that you can, or whatever, right? And so I'll probably end up adding that to the shelf because it's who I am. I mean, we got currently the episodes 1 through 9 in the box set over there, where it's all 9 of those films together. I'm kind of disappointed we haven't gotten one where it's more than just the Skywalker saga in one box. I feel like the Solo and Rogue One would be nice to put into the box with it. Maybe the Clone Wars movie, but... I mean, but also we don't have a Clone Wars box set that's 6 and 7 included. It's just... Nope. It's just seasons 1 through 5.
The preventative rant twitch.
No, I was about to do something cringe. Because I realized what I said.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Too old for that.
You're too old. You have...
But I'm on TikTok.
And?
Also, that trend's kind of dead, so, like...
Good.
Or at least I don't see it as much. Like, it's not one I see as much. But yeah, so that's basically what Dave Filoni confirmed. Out of that stuff, we basically were like, let's just do a quick talk about this. Because most of this is... half of it is stuff we knew, and then the other half is... okay, this is exciting, but we kind of were expecting it. So, I assume the more exciting piece is specifically getting the non-special edition original Star Wars. Which means that version won't even be called A New Hope. It'll just say Star Wars. Because it'll just say Star Wars. It won't say Episode 4 A New Hope.
Shoot that man under the table.
I mean,
I also was thinking about the logistics of it. I was like, does that mean that, like, in the Mos Eisley Cantina, within, like, 10 minutes, a guy got his arm cut off
Yes.
and another one got shot?
yeah, that's exactly what...
You know, sometimes I forget how dangerous Mos Eisley is.
And the shooting happened first.
Mm-hmm.
No, second.
Yeah.
It is second, yeah. So imagine being that guy.
Imagine, like, coming into a bar after, your 9 to 5, and they're like, it's crazy, man. 10 minutes ago, this old guy came in, cut off some guy's arm, and one of our you know that, like, a bad boy that's always posted up here, even though, like, he's
not from here.
He's not from here. Yeah, he killed a guy.
Killed a local, actually.
Yeah.
You know that annoying Rhodian?
Yeah.
Oh, he's dead now.
Well, shit. Fuck. I'm glad I was at work today, I guess. Might not have been a good day for me to be here.
You know what, though? I kind of didn't like that guy. It's okay, he's dead. Yeah, but don't forget he works for the Hutts. Oh. That's right.
Right, I forgot. We live where the cartel works.
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow, I'm going to be lowering my prices on water for a couple of days. Or should I increase them? Which one do you think will make Joppa less angry?
Probably lower.
Lower? Lower
well,
sounds good.
Well.
Lower for him, higher for everybody
Yeah,
else.
higher for everybody else, because, he's going to want his, like, cut still.
Yeah. Okay, that's the plan.
But yeah, so that's it for news on that side. There's some comic news we're going to dive into next. So Mad Cave Studios, we've talked about how they're doing their comics. They went a little into more details recently about the plan, considering they kind of have a big... This is another case where I'm not really going to have us read anything. We'll do that with the August comic lineup. But basically they were like, hey... It's interesting having, like, Mad Cave get involved because they already do a bunch of Disney IP. So it kind of makes sense that we're going to have them do some Disney IP in Star Wars. Because they've yet, so far we already have Marvel and Dark Horse. So now we're going to have Mad Cave. Now we'll get more comics this way. Which, thank God if you've been here to listen to my rants about Marvel. Just saying. Because Marvel have been kind of pissing me off with their thing. And we're going to see that with the August comic lineup, too. But good news is we got, like, 3 comics that we're getting from Mad Cave. We're getting a tie-in for Mandalorian and Grogu called Danger in the Dark. It's a prequel. And it's written by one of my favorites, Delilah S. Dawson. And that's going to be releasing July 21st. So, not too far from here. And then we get... So, apparently these are volume sets, because we did not know that initially when we talked about these. But The Smugglers and Scoundrels, The Race for Jabba's Bounty. The Race for Jabba's Bounty is volume 1 of the Smugglers and Scoundrels comic. And that's going to be from Kevin Scott, another favorite here on the channel.
Yep.
That's September 15th. And then next year, in January 26th, we're going to get Volume 1 of Tales from the Outer Rim, The Legend of Beggar's Canyon, from Greg Pak, which we've done less of on the show. I don't think we've done too many things that he... Well, we got the bounty. We've done some of the Star Wars the Darth Vader comics. He's gotten the Darth Vader comics under his belt, but that's... Well, yeah, that's a lot of Greg Pak, actually, now that I think about it. So, and he did the, like, more recent Vader run. Trying to pull it up. I'm getting disappointed by my powers of Google searches. But yeah, he did the most, the the most recent Vader run.
I see.
So the stuff with Sabe. Yeah, my brain just for a second. The stuff with Sabe, which was good. So
You're lucky, my Sabe. You're lucky, my boss friend. Both of those things doesn't want you dead. This is the only reason you are alive.
So that's
apart from plot.
Yeah.
But fuck you, Vader.
So because I'm upset about Marvel, this is exciting that we're getting more comics. I'm like, okay, give us more stuff, and also Mandalorian and Grogu, yay! Give us something that's in between the show and the movie. I think there's room there to explain some stuff. I guess speaking of, comics and Marvel and it's mostly just the Marvel stuff. We get some other like non-Marvel stuff that we can talk about, but so apparently there's new leadership at Marvel, which is why things have been kind of shifting. We're getting changing out the head of Marvel Comics because one of the Marvel Studios executives is now being put in charge of Marvel television, animation, comics, and franchises. And then they placed a new general manager, which means now we're getting a new comics head. Right now, we don't know the effect of that. I think hopefully that will be for the better, because I feel like lately on the Star Wars end, it's been lacking. And it's something we talked about every time we've had this, Marvel and Star Wars come up. It's a case of, I think Marvel has been lacking on providing Star Wars content, because it's like, your stories are still good for the stuff you give us, but you end them too soon. Like, you end the run too soon, I think, for a lot of these. Like, some of these I'm okay with, like, especially because, and we're going to talk about it, because one of the ones for August is the Kylo Ren thing. I think Kylo Ren being a miniseries that, like, even though it was announced as an ongoing, I can live with. Mm-hmm. The Jedi Knights one, I wish stayed an ongoing. I think that needed, I would have liked more pre-Episode 1 Star Wars comics. So I'm kind of disappointed in that one. And I'm very disappointed in not having a mainline Star Wars comic. Especially when it was about to explore an area of Star Wars that I think a lot of fans want to see, which is the near immediate post Episode 6 with our main trio. I think that's the timeline Star Wars fans want to see the most. And the only reason I can think that they're not doing it is because somebody, either Dave or somebody higher up at Lucasfilm, has said, hey, we're actually going to explore that in a film or a show. Don't touch it any more than you already have. That's my only, the only way I'd be okay with Marvel not continuing to do what they're doing. Was if Lucasfilm shut it down. But because we don't know, I can only assume Marvel has chosen to do it themselves. Because we have a lack of information on that regard. And we know at the very least, the era that is off limits is the Mando era. That is entirely off limits to books and comics for the most part, unless authorized, like the Danger in the Dark comic. But we know from reports that is that era, and then anything post Episode 9 is kind of off limits for books and comics. Because that is the area the movies want to explore.
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
They have enough, because Buttercup told me how many points they have. I know Pixie has more than Buttercup. And it's only 200 points. Anyways,
All right.
let's get into the comic stuff for August, because we got a little bit more of that. We know that we learned that Viz Media is actually with Penguin Random House and Random House Worlds. They are working to re-release the Star Wars manga that they already have under a new banner. Redeem it 418 times. Jeez.
Jesus Christ.
So they plan to do a new banner, essentially, which I assume is going to be the banner going forward for Viz Media's manga that they do for Star Wars. But they're going to do a new under a Disney manga banner. So I'm curious if that's the plan going forward. So we're getting re-releases of the Mandalorian one, which is just a retelling of the TV show, as well as a re-release of the Thrawn manga. So that, Now, as far as Marvel comics go, not a lot. Surprise, surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like that's my problem with it. I'll stop.
Yeah, are you done?
Yeah, I'll stop.
I get you don't like it, but you ain't gotta keep hitting them.
We're getting... this is one of the ones I'm actually excited for, is the Rogue One one-shots. I think it's going to be fun. This one is Chirrut and Baze, and that'll be August 5th. Celebrating 10 years of Rogue One, a strike against the Empire, but at what cost? Baze Malbus and Chirrut Imwe attempt a covert mission to sabotage a Kyber mine that has been overtaken by Imperial forces. But when something unexpected stands between them and their objective, the mission becomes far more complicated than they expected. To succeed, faith will be tested, and an impossible choice must be made.
Alright, I'll take this one.
Yeah, the next one is going to be The Fall of Kylo Ren, #1. And that's going to be August 12th. We talked about that, but now we have a little bit more.
The legacy of Vader creates a new empire of fear. Kylo Ren returns from devastation, wielding total fury. As Generals Hux and Pride tear the First Order apart with treacherous ambition, Kylo cuts through their schemes with merciless clarity. As Wrath forges unity through fear and unleashes a supreme leader, neither general can escape, nor survive disappointing. A pivotal turning point for Kylo, Hux, and Pride. Essential reading for every Star Wars fan.
Alright, and then with that, we'll also be getting Galaxy's Edge, Echoes of the Empire, #5. And that is going to be the biggest mystery of Batuu is revealed. Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia have returned to Batuu to complete a mission, but a heroic act will put them face to face with a creature not seen for millennia. The secret of the mysterious relic is revealed in the process, and Black Spire Outpost will never be the same. No fans of Star Wars and Disney parks will want to miss the climactic final issue. And weirdly enough, that one doesn't have a date. We just know it's August. So, at the very least, we know in August, we'll be talking all of the Galaxy's Edge Echoes of the Empire comic. We just don't know when. But that's it for the August comic lineup. Like I said, it's not a lot. And then, lastly in news, a little bit of sad piece of news.
Sad. You came just in time, girls.
Tom Kane, a prolific voice actor, has passed at the age of 64. He was already, unfortunately, it's not that surprising to me, because he had already been forced to retire from, and we talked about that, from his stroke symptoms. Yeah, and so, in the Star Wars community, he is known for playing such voices as Yoda in Clone Wars, Admiral Yularen in Clone Wars. He's been in KOTOR, because I was looking up some other stuff on the way here today.
Yeah, dude had a list.
Outside of Star Wars, he's the professor in Powerpuff Girls. Yeah. So, he's a legend, I think, when it comes to voice acting. He's got that voice that he had range, because, like, you could recognize his voice, but at the same time, he could play other roles, and you would be like, oh, is that him? Oh, because I would say Admiral Yularen, Mr. Harriman in Foster's Home, I would say those voices are very similar, but, like, I wouldn't say, like, Darwin Thornberry in the Wild Thornberries, because that's more of a night, that's the animal, silly creature voices, right? And then, of course, Yoda isn't quite the same level either. He's also been, he was Woodhouse in Archer, which I'm a big Archer fan. But they had gotten rid of Woodhouse years before even Tom Kane was needing to retire, because they killed Woodhouse in the show. Spoilers for a show that's, it ended a few years ago, so, but then, of course, I was looking up other things that I watched growing up. He was in Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. He's Professor Kaufman, which is that same Admiral Yularen voice that he uses. Professor Utonium is a little bit more higher in the... Professor Utonium in Powerpuff Girls, yep. He's been in a lot of Marvel stuff as well. He's been Tony Stark. He's been Magneto. He's the Professor in Hulk vs. Wolverine. He's been Admiral Akbar in Star Tours. Like I said, and he was the voice of Admiral Akbar in Last Jedi. So, like, very, very prolific out when it comes to what he did. I'm just looking at this list. The movies list isn't as big, but once you start going down the TV list, yeah. He was Doctor Doom in Spider-Man the Animated Series.
Sorry, I was looking at the one for Duckman.
Oh, yeah, Duckman. He's Bill Clinton in Duckman. Very talented. And so it's kind of like I think I was right. I was right. For some reason, I couldn't find it on IMDb. He was Magneto and Wolverine in the X-Men. Because I saw that he was Magneto in, like, a video game, and I was like, oh, that's a voice I recognize, because I think that's the voice for Wolverine in the X-Men one. And then I couldn't find it on IMDb, but here on Wikipedia it shows it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I was right. He is that one, because we were talking about it on the way here. I was like, I think he was Wolverine in the X-Men one.
He's in the Boondocks as well.
Yeah, he was in the Boondocks. Only for an episode, but, when you're this prolific, you're going to be you'll be in single episodes of shows all the time.
He's in Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes as Ultron.
And Jasper Sitwell, so S.H.I.E.L.D. He's been Qui-Gon before for Lego stuff, for Lego Star Wars stuff. Just so many things. And then video games as well. He's been in Star Wars essentially since Shadows of the Empire. That's because he's Lebo in that. Jeez, that, like, 2 years after when I'm like 2, so, like,
been around the block.
Yeah, so for Star Wars, he has been a very important role. Grim Fandango, I like Grim Fandango. That's a great game.
The Curse of Monkey Island.
Mm-hmm. I think because Britt and I were talking about this, Gabriel Knight. Because we were talking, like, point-and-click games, like Gabriel Knight 3. Wow. Just so much to go over this career and be like... God. And just, like, point out all these roles where you're like, I remember growing up with that. He is a childhood icon, I would argue. And really deserves all the credit for, like, what he's put in.
Man.
He even got a little bit of live action, because we talked about... I pointed out one movie I've seen with him. He's Dr. Loomis in Halloween H2O, which is not that bad of a Halloween movie, in my opinion. A controversial opinion there. He was also in Dracula 2000, which is the Dracula film where they make Dracula Judas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting move.
Well, it's because, and it fits the lore still of, like, why it's to explain, like, the holy item, like, why, like, crosses and stuff. He's only an Anchorman in that, and then Dracula 3 Legacy, which is, like, a sequel to Dracula 2000. But, I mean, this is a guy that honestly deserved way more acknowledgement for what he did as a voice actor, I think. I at least on my side as a fan, he will definitely be missed. I mean, not even just for the Star Wars roles, but for everything that he's done, pretty much. That's really all I can say about it. Is there anything? I mean, it's a sad thing, but there's not a lot like I can really.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm curious. I was just double checking. Yeah, it was a complication from the strokes that he's been having that got him. I was about to say, because he was only 64, so not too old to where, like, I would be like, oh, this is... But, unfortunately, because he's been fighting these strokes for years,
it's one of those things, like, we knew it was a possibility, still didn't want it to happen.
Yeah. You want to go into some lighter stuff?
Yeah.
How about
the fact that did fucking...
Hold on.
No, not made... Only first 10 minute
Okay.
stuff.
Okay, so we're... Okay. I will still give the spoiler alert just for that. We're gonna dive into the Mandalorian and Grogu now. We are going to do this in two sort of ways. We're gonna first do a light spoilers, quick opinions version, and then we will go into our deep, like, dive after that. So this is the spoiler warning for the light warnings for people who care about that, because there are people who still are like, I don't want to know anything. So the people who don't want to know anything, this is your warning. Okay. So that's for people who don't want to know anything. We're going to dive into some of the light stuff, first 10 minute stuff, as well as, like, some light thoughts, basically leading into whether or not we think you should watch it. I think for the most part we both agree, yes. That was kind of our... you've had... Because I know you were on the high when we first got out of the film, but now that you've had that high settle in, are you kind of still in the same opinions you were? Okay. So, first 10 minutes... Mandalorian doing awesome things, comes in epic action sequence. I think the action in this entire film, honestly,
yes,
because we can talk about that, because we can talk broad stuff. We just won't go into details of, like, all these fights. I think not yet, anyways. In terms of broad scope, the fights, the combat in this is really well choreographed and really well done. I think so. This is a movie that definitely. You can tell this was originally just a version of Season 4 at one point. Like, you can tell Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni were like, here's what we want to do for Season 4. And then I guess somewhere along the way they went, what if we made it a movie instead? And so they cut maybe the season in half, because this could probably make up, like, 3 or 4 episodes of a season. Based on runtime, and honestly, at some points I can call when the episodes would be, like, when they would change the episode, right?
Yeah, when the episodes would shift.
Yeah, like, I can kind of tell when the episodes shift, because there's, like, the story is basically told in, like, thirds to a quarter mil, where I can go, I know that this is an episode, basically the first 10 minutes plus the Rada sequence, leaving that vague. The Rada sequence is an episode. I think the entire Rada stuff is an episode. I think the I can't talk about it yet. We'll talk about it when we go full spoiler. But I can tell where the episodes are, I think, and that's not a bad thing. I think that it has a little charm in that regard. It almost feels like this movie is the adventures of the Mandalorian and Grogu. Like it's like a fun little like what's the word I'm looking for? It's just a fun compilation of adventures that involve Mandalorian and Grogu with an overarching like antagonist set. I'll leave that vague of who the antagonists are, just because that does kind of spoil some things, I think, beyond the main plot a little bit. Like, and then I think in terms of broad stuff that we can talk about, I think the other thing about this being a movie is that you can tell the budget is a little higher than if it was on Disney Plus. It was $100 million something for this movie, so, and you can see that in the film. You can tell, like, oh, I don't think Rada would have looked as good if this was on Disney Plus.
No.
Rada looks great. Rada, this is the best we've seen of this little Hutlet. I think that's also a great joke, and that's a great joke. We can talk about that joke in a little bit, but that's a joke where it requires a second watching if you don't know the Clone Wars already. I will say, some concerns people had when they heard the plot. This is not Clone Wars 2. Because people had concerns that this would just be a remake of the Clone Wars movie because of a certain plot point. Rada being kidnapped.
Oh, yeah.
It is not the Clone Wars 2.
It's not that.
That is actually not the plot of this movie. That is a misleading plot for this movie, without spoiling anything. Mm-hmm. It is a plot point, but I won't go further than that. I'll say the thing you see in the trailers the most is the snow scene, and that is like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good it's a good way of showing the growth of Mando since the show ended, because like I'll say like seasons 2 and 3 really put Din Djarin through it, in terms of like Din Djarin's not good at fighting.
No, he like he's
not in seasons 2 and 3 anyways. Because like I rewatched the show before going into this.
Is not a remembering from 2 and 3. I think the problem isn't that Din isn't good at fighting. It's that he's got too much mental, for lack of a better term, friction with one of his main weapons. Mm-hmm. And now that he doesn't have that, he's a lot better.
Well, and even then, like, he wasn't ever the best, like, he's good at killing people, but not the best. Mm-hmm. And so, like, we see now at the start of Mandalorian and Grogu, he is now efficient. Like, the first 10 minutes is just him coming in like a horror villain, like a horror movie villain. He just comes in and starts killing stormtroopers, like, no problem. Especially, like, because that was the comment you made when we were on the ride back.
If you told me I had to either deal with Vader or Din Djarin, I would take myself out.
Yeah, like...
Because I don't want to deal with either of them.
And so, like, the premise that's starting off is that he's working for the New Republic, which is where Season 3 left us off with.
Yes.
And so he is an independent contractor for the New Republic, hunting down ex-Imperials who are still Imperial warlords.
Since this is in the first 10 minutes, I like how by the time he gets there, they're just like...
Yeah. Oh, the guy... Yeah, the poor villagers that are forced to work for this Imperial. Yeah, they give that guy up so fast, because he's like... Well, and he just shot one of their guys, so of course they're like, we're not actually dying for this guy. Go get him. Mm-hmm. I think the interactions with Grogu are, like, keeping it broad in general, not just in the 10 minutes. I think Grogu is really well done in this. A lot of the complaints I've seen is that Grogu is a pet in this film, and I disagree. We can see where the argument comes from, but I think in terms of what Grogu actually is doing and is in that movie is not pet behavior, because he has his own agency. Pets in films, when they're sidekicks, not when they're... Because obviously there are movies about pets, but where they have agency. But I'm talking about where they're the sidekick, because that's the complaint, is that he feels like a sidekick pet. And it's like, no, a sidekick pet doesn't have agency usually in movies. They're usually just a tool in the tool belt for the main character. And while Grogu has moments of that, he is not purely that in the film. He has... Honestly, I think he actually has a character arc in this movie. And it's... Without giving too many things away, it's being able to do things without the Mandalorian. Being able to handle himself without Din around. And I think that's an interesting thing. I think that's an interesting piece of growth for Grogu, because we haven't had that so far. Like throughout the Mandalorian, it's mostly been Din watches over Grogu because Grogu can't take care of himself. Grogu's literally just a baby. Whereas I think by this film, even though it's in the same, because it's very interesting that, as far as I know, this is still 9 ABY, which is when the rest of The Mandalorian takes place, as well as Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew. As far as I know, this is still 9 ABY. So, within not even a full year, we are seeing this kind of growth for a character. I think is interesting, and it's why, while we're not, as far as we know, we're not getting more TV Mandalorian. I want more books, I want more comics of it, but of course, we talked about it earlier, that's currently an off-limits time period, just because the Thrawn of it all, which I will say, I will give the letdown of this, is not a part of this movie. I think that is the mistake people are going into this film with, is hoping that it's going to connect to the big Mandoverse story arc. Mando era. We'll call it the Mando era. The Mando era storyline, even though it's part of the same era as... Anyways. The Mando era storyline, I think it's fine that we know that that's coming, but it's also fine that this is a standalone story. And I think it works better that it is a standalone story, because I think we just needed a fun Star Wars movie.
So they can make us sad later.
Yeah, well, but also because the last Star Wars movie we had was Episode 9, which was part of the larger narrative, and it's part of the big divisive nature of the Star Wars fandom, which this movie unfortunately does not stop. This movie does not end the divisive nature of Star Wars fandom, because Star Wars fandom is always going to be divisive, and this is where I go into a little bit of a rant real quick. Star Wars fans don't know what the fuck they want. That's the premise of my rant here. That's my... if I was writing an essay, this would be in the first paragraph of this essay. This is like... Star Wars fans don't... This is the thesis statement. Star Wars fans don't know what the fuck they want. Because you can give... You can give one side of the Star Wars fandom exactly what they want, and they will still find things to complain about. And ironically, it will be the fact that it is not... That it is the thing they wanted. Because we haven't done season 1 of Mando on the show.
No.
Because we started with Book of Boba Fett.
Because
now, have you... I don't think you've watched Mando season 1, though.
I
think you've seen bits and pieces.
Bits and pieces.
Okay, so Mando season 1 is a lot more Mando and Grogu going on adventures, because right now there is no main plot other than Mando is protecting Grogu from the Empire, right? Until we reveal Gideon at the end of season 1. That's the plot, right? And then we reveal and then it becomes season 2 is like the overarching plot of we need to find a Jedi, right? So people like Mando season 1. Everybody across the board likes Mando season 1. Season 2. People call that the fan service season, right? Because it's every other episode was a well-known character, was a Glup Shido essentially showing up. Mm-hmm. You had Bo-Katan showing up one episode, Glup Shido.
Bo-Katan, Ahsoka.
Yeah, like Glup Shidos as far as like the fandom is concerned. Cobb Vanth shows up, and that's a Glup Shido of Glup Shidos right there in terms of canon Star Wars at the time. Although now he's no longer a Glup Shido because he has been in proper stuff, but at the time, he was a Glup Shido. He was my Glup Shido, actually, because I was a big Aftermath fan. I was one of the few Aftermath fans. Cobb Vanth was my Glup Shido. But, so yes, Season 2's big complaint that everybody has is that it's a fan service season. And then Season 3, people thought that it goes too much into telling the grander narrative, and people didn't like how tied into the grander narrative it is, right? So that was the complaints for Mando, right? That people were having. Not our complaints, but like the wider, like...
No, I'm thinking from a logic perspective, right? The Mandalorian Navarro conflict, to me, in
specifically
addition to
with
Gideon...
I was going to say it's the Gideon parts.
Had fuck all to do with any of that. Gideon was just
They
doing
talk about
thing.
They talk about Thrawn coming.
Yeah, but that's for 5 minutes. That's a joke in that show.
Well, and then they set up the Imperial Council, the Warlords Council with Hux. But they like it's tied into the show now rather than being a thing that's happening in the background. So now it's a thing in the show, and therefore it's making the show more tied into the grander narrative.
Yeah, but that's not the thing we care about for that plot.
And then I know, but it's why people were bothered by it. Even though it didn't bother me, I like that it tied into it because it makes sense that it's going to tie into it. It makes sense that Gideon is.
I think my divorce from it, for lack of a better term, is I haven't seen Rebels.
Yeah.
So I don't give.
Rebels doesn't have any connection. Well, Rebels doesn't have any connection to Season 3.
Yeah,
other than the Darksaber and Bo-Katan.
Yeah, that's why I'm not really, and also I don't hate the new sequel trilogy. I'm just not attached to it.
Yeah.
So I don't really.
Whereas a lot of these complaints,
hostile,
a lot of these are actively hostile complaints. Yes,
that is the difference.
And I think these are people who have basically sworn to not like Disney content, whether or not they actually like it, right? Because I think also the disconnect is going into a movie, enjoying the movie actively, seeing other people in the theater enjoying the movie actively with you, right? The laughs, the actual, because I think that's the best thing that this movie has had. I think this has had a really good... I think maybe one or two times I saw somebody on their phone, but for the most part, the theater experience has been really good for this movie, for me. And I've seen it twice now, whereas you've just seen it the once. But I'd say our experience together was pretty good. There wasn't a lot of, people... I think that it's a modern problem with movie theaters, is a lot of people don't pay attention when they go to a movie theater anymore like they used to. That's a little bit of an old man me moment, but...
No, to hell with these whippersnappers.
But, except it's also even older people that are, just being disrespectful. But, I think in the case I think this movie has had a really good experience. People were laughing at the moments that were funny. People were, astonished with moments that were astonishing, and then you had a little jump scare, which I thought was hilarious.
Of all the things that could have got me, right? This doesn't spoil anything.
A frog tries to eat Grogu.
Fucking got me.
Yeah, a frog tries to eat Grogu, and
I realized, there's something in the water, and then it moved.
Some cool stuff, by the way. Popcorn bucket. We gotta show the popcorn. Oh, I don't think my mom would appreciate that. Yeah, he's in the little bundle, and that's the popcorn bucket that we got. And then here's the cup. You can just take them off. I'd say that's a little bit more than bi, because that's like, if we're counting the cup as part of his body, bi implies half.
Yeah, but like, we only get the top half of them.
And then, of course, as a Star Wars Unlimited fan, which we will open these together. Yeah, we can open this one, because I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 4 more of these. Because nobody else wants them with the people I went with. Because I went, the first showing I went to was with my parents, so I got their cards as well. And then yesterday was with Seth, and Seth doesn't play either, really. So we got a nice little Grogu one. That's a leader card. He's a leader, which actually fits. Once again, with my argument of Grogu is doing things now. While another friendly unit is defending, it gets +1/+0. While another friendly unit is attacking, the defendant unit gets -1/-0. That's what he does when he's on the field. When he's not, when you play a unique unit that costs 4 or more, if this leader is ready, you may deploy him. That's cool. Oh, so that's how you get Grogu on the field. That's a little different. So so he doesn't have an ability, but he comes out on the field when a unique leader that costs 4 or more comes out on the field. As long as Grogu is readied, which he is, because there's no actions for him to do until then. That's cool. And then Razor Crest is the other card. Got a Razor Crest because they have the new Razor Crest, which I like the paint job. I like that it's basically the N1 Naboo Starfighter paint job, but on the Razor Crest.
Yeah, I was thinking for plot reasons, we cannot use the Naboo Starfighter to haul Rada
And Zeb.
And Zeb. It is too small.
Yeah, although we get a small ship in this movie, which is the best.
Which is also another plot point.
Yeah, everybody loves it. Everybody in the audience was loving that small ship, the Anzellan ship. Yeah, so what does the Razor Crest do? It's a 3/5 Saboteur, so it can ignore shields and Sentinels. On attack, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, this unit gets +2/+0 for this attack. So kind of a self-mill situation. And then Star Wars Unlimited advertising card. So I have enough for to have 3 Razor Crests in the deck, and then to have Grogu, because I mean there's only one Grogu I can use in a deck because he's a leader. I probably would do a Twin Suns with him and Mando. I think would be a cool deck to build with that. Anyways, yeah, that's cool stuff there. The other thing I want to talk about, because we were talking about the budget earlier, I was talking about how you can see it in display. It was something I was talking about last night after our D&D game, but you were muted, so I don't know your opinions or if you even noticed this, because I didn't notice it my first time watching. But there's a fight with some droids near the end, in the finale in the third act, and the second time watching with you, I noticed that they are stop motion like they're models essentially.
Yeah,
it's practical effects there. That's not CGI, or at least it's not purely CGI there, right? Like it's at least blended with practical. Because I noticed how their movements were very stop motion practical effects. I didn't notice that the first time. I guess because I was just the first time I'm just watching for the sake of watching and being like, oh, this is fun. Whereas the second time I was kind of watching with a little bit more of a intent to be
critical eye.
Yeah, a little bit more notice things I didn't notice the first time. And that was one of the things that I noticed that I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I will say, on the car ride there, I did have to, have a moment of, so there's 2 ways I can watch this movie. I can either watch it, and think about all of the like important stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I can just go in and watch the movie.
I assume you went with the just watching the movie.
Just go in and watch the movie.
Because when we got out of that movie, you were on a high.
Because I haven't been in theaters in... It's 2026 now.
Yeah.
Last time I went was in 2002, so it's been 4 years.
2024, you mean?
No, 2022.
Oh, okay. 2022. Sorry, you said 2002, so my brain was like, wait.
Sorry, yeah, 2022, not 2002.
2022, yeah. Yeah, I was
the
like...
last time I was in theaters, The Batman was the movie that I went
Oh,
to
okay. Which I can imagine was another situation of you got out of that theater with a high.
see. Yeah.
So when the Batman Part 2 comes out, I guess I gotta take you to see that. I have a feeling Drew will want to see it though, so you'll go anyways. No, but yeah, we came out of this.
Andrew wouldn't. It's too long. I'll fall asleep.
Oh. But that was a fun movie. So this was a fun movie, Mandalorian and Grogu. I would... is there anything else you want to talk about before we get into the heavy spoilers?
I don't know if this is a side effect of like the production value, but they are really okay with just blowing things up.
Yeah. In the first 10 minutes, they just... I like how they take down the walkers. I like the...
He's breaking it.
I think one of the coolest things was actually the popping the foot out of place and messing the joint there.
Yeah.
With the explosives, because I'm like, oh, that's a cool way of like still keeping the idea that ATs are these big like walkers that you can't take down with normal methods. You have to take them out in the legs.
Yeah.
And this is a fun way of like, oh, we haven't seen that method. We haven't seen of what happens when a foot is just fucked and you just go, ah!
What happens when an AT-AT rolls its ankle?
Yeah.
The other thing for me that I was like, okay, I know power scaling isn't a thing in Star Wars.
Yeah,
it kind of is, but it's not.
It becomes dangerous when we talk about that because like because the Force wants
that
whoever wants
trouble.
to win. Yeah.
I was like, okay, so I think this is about where the maximum capacity for Din's abilities lie.
Yeah, I think we're hitting his upper threshold.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what happens in the future with him and Grogu in terms of moving forward of characters. And how it's going to relate to the larger Mando era events that we know are going on.
Also, Mando has a house on Navarro.
Well, that was at the end of Season 3, yeah. It was nice seeing the house again, though. It's nice acknowledging some of the things that are in this show on a bigger scale. Like, seeing Navarro as this big city now that things have, like, there's no empire.
Yeah.
Getting to see that, getting to see one or two of the characters if Pixie or... I know, Buttercup, you're busy. If Pixie, if you can get that for us. But on a grander narrative, getting to see some of these characters appear, even if for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of the TV show characters show up, but some. I think the biggest marketed one is the Anzellans, seeing the Anzellans back, and Babu Frick. Bad baby. Which I think was definitely a fan favorite in both showings that I've gone to, were the Anzellans.
How could you not like the Anzellans? They're so nice.
But I think the Anzellans for sure were the fan favorites for both showings for me. And then, yeah, we'll go into some of the other characters and stuff in a second, because we're about to go into the deeper spoiler territory. Before we do, though, I want to kind of just give my ratings, so that way, like, for people who who haven't seen the movie, are considering it, and you were willing to sit through some minor spoilers, should you go watch it? I think so. I still give it what I gave it last night, which is 8 out of 10.
I'm going to be slightly more generous with a 9 out of 10.
The only reason I'm not giving it a 9 is I'm going to reserve that for, like, higher cream of the crop Star Wars films. You know what I mean? Like, the Rogue Ones, the things that are like, oh, these are probably, like, in conversation for best Star Wars movie, but aren't the best for me. Whereas, I don't think I've given a Star Wars movie a 10. Even my favorites. Because that would imply perfect movie to me. And that's a little bit of a harder, like, it's harder to tell me that a movie is perfect. And so, even though I'm a big Star Wars fan, but because...
Oh, you are you?
It's almost like...
dragged me through 5 years of this shit.
I was about to say, it's almost like I'm dedicated to a podcast for it. And most of the channel's content has been Star Wars related. No, but, like, I will say that this is a fun movie, but it's not the best Star Wars movie. Is why I kind of give it an 8. But I can see, like, for you, this is, this is what you want. Let's get into the heavy spoilers, though. Yes. Let's talk about what is going on in this movie and some of... I'm going to rant for sure in this one about the people that are bitching about there being no tie. Like, that's it, because I didn't finish my rant before we go into the spoiler warning. Because people were bitching about going back into Star Wars fans don't know what they want. Yeah, so seasons 2 and 3, they complain about that. So this movie is season 1, essentially. It is a more disconnected story. It is a story about just Mandalorian and Grogu doing bounty hunter shit. That is this movie. Which also goes into my recommendation for this movie and kind of telling people to, like, set your expectations at a fair level. Don't go in thinking that this is, like, a continuation of the big story arc. Go in knowing that this is a Mandalorian and Grogu doing bounty hunter shit. Which I think is what, like, Seth, that's what you wanted. So you're like, that's why it's a 9. Yep. But for, like, some people, that's a genuine, like, oh, that's a letdown, and that's fair. But the people that are judging the movie for not being what they wanted and going, this isn't what I wanted, this isn't what I expected, so this is a 5 or whatever. Like, IGN gave this movie a 5. Which isn't surprising for IGN, because IGN just sucks at knowing how to give a fair review on anything nowadays. But, like, a 5?
Man, the Intergalactic News Network is a real letdown, huh? I know that's not what their numbers... Their letters. Their letters. I don't know what their numbers are. Apparently 5. Yeah,
it's a 5. Oh, man. But no, that was a good joke. That's a good joke. The Imperial Galactic News
is slandering New Republic.
Of course it is. It's the Imperial Galactic News. Thank you. But yeah, no. So, like, set your expectations.
You for deleting them.
Yeah.
From existence.
But yeah, set your expectations at that level of this is just Mando and Grogu doing bounty hunter fun, like, adventure. But I think the problem is the people that claim they wanted that are now flip-flopping. It's the same people going, oh, this isn't interconnected enough. This movie sucks. And it's like...
I think that they wanted it to happen then, but now that it is happening after everything, they're just upset.
Well, I also think...
Or maybe they're just being whiny. Who knows?
Because it's from a certain crowd, I'm going to go with the latter. I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt anymore. They have had too many years of chances on that.
Yeah, I will be the naive one this time.
This is a case of y'all have had so many years to like, show improvement as fans. But I think there is some genuine, like... I think if there's, like, genuine disappointment in that, that's fine. But if you're, like... saying the movie, if you're playing it up and saying the movie is awful because of that, then... Because, like, one of our, like, the harshest critics amongst our friends likes this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Scotty. Because Scotty's a little hard, like, out of the three of us in that friend circle, Scotty's the harsher of the, like, I'm probably the nicest when it comes to ratings for like, when it comes to talking about Star Wars products. You're probably a little more middle ground, like, you're genuinely, like, because
I do try to go in with an even keel on most subjects.
yeah, but I'm
Like-
generally the nicer of the, like, compared to me, you're Simon Cowell. Am I wrong?
God damn.
Actually, yeah. But yeah, and so Scotty's a little bit harsher than that even sometimes, because he doesn't like pretty much any of the sequels other than Force Awakens. I like The Last Jedi, and I will continue to defend The Last Jedi.
And I haven't seen those two, so I can't judge them.
Yeah.
My only understanding of it comes from the Lego games, so...
But yeah, so I kind of get frustrated with that, and I even have arguments against that, but we have to go into the deeper spoilers for that. So we're going to go into the deeper spoilers now.
Big spoiler warning
Yeah,
this time.
This is for the I absolutely want to go to the movie. Don't tell me anymore. You've sold me.
If you don't want to hear that, you should leave now.
Okay.
Well-
So this is where we're actually going into like plot, like the actual plot.
Yes.
So my beef with anybody who says this movie's not interconnected enough to what's going on in the Mando time era of stuff. Book of Boba Fett, bitches. The twins.
Yeah. This is going to cover that plot point and answer what
What the fuck did they do after they left?
Yeah.
After they said Boba Fett can have Tatooine.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out they've been still running the Hutt crime syndicate. We also learned that because the other question when Book of Boba Fett came out was what happened to Rada the Hutt? Because like why are these two in charge? Why are the twins in charge? Where's Rada during this? Shouldn't Rada be in charge? Well, it turns out Rada doesn't want to be in charge.
Yeah.
Turns out
Arata has suffered the classic Hutt problem of do I want to be a crime boss or not?
and his answer is no.
Yeah.
Which is we've only seen one other time
Yeah.
in Star Wars.
Well,
That one wanted to be a scientist though.
and he did.
Yeah, this one Rada wants to be a pit fighter. So the first main plot is after defeating the Imperial base that's in the first 10 minutes. Zeb takes him back to the Adelphi base, where Sigourney Weaver is in charge.
Yeah.
And-
And he's like, Mando, what the fuck happened there?
You killed that Imperial that we needed for information because we tried to bring them in alive because then we can question them.
Mando hitting the most D&D character shit ever. It got a little messy.
They fought back.
They fought back a lot. And it's like, what do you mean? It's like, they're all dead. What do you mean they're all dead? They're all dead. What do you mean? What do I mean?
So Sigourney goes, okay, well, that's fine. We'll still pay you for it. And Mando's like, okay, cool. I'm going to go on a vacation. I'm going to put in for my, like, I'm putting in for my paid time off.
Yeah.
I'm putting PTO in.
And they're like, you're an independent contractor.
Okay, my TO.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, you're an independent contractor. You get time off whenever you want.
And they're like, although before you go, we did make you a new car.
Yeah, we're paying you in advance for the next job.
And he's like, I haven't said yes. He's like, you didn't say no.
So here's the new Razor Crest that we got you. It's a nice top of the line, taken from an Imperial we caught. Who
It is just stock though, so any modifications will have to be made.
Yeah, like this is like classic stock that from a like collector, basically the car collector of Star Wars. Somebody who liked their classic cars. And so they're like, okay. So Zeb is like, hey, let's go on the mission.
What's like the Ford Model T of Star Wars?
I don't know. It's got to be like something older than an N1, because the N1 is like in that era of old. I would say probably a Vector could be considered that, because Vectors are old enough, but we'd probably have to start looking in like Old Republic era ships, which we don't really have a lot in canon yet. I think the most we have are like the Hammerhead class ships, which we see in Rogue One and all that.
Anyhow, that was a side question.
Yeah.
An interesting one, but not relevant.
So basically, Sigourney Weaver goes, okay, well, the next mission, in case you choose to take it, is we're looking for a Imperial named Coin. We don't know what he looks like, but he's the next target on your bounty.
Use Sabak cards as like, find this guy for me.
Yeah.
Which means that somewhere out there is a former Rebellion employee making playing cards of Imperial war criminals.
That's got to be interesting to explain when you go home at the end of the day. That's like if somebody made. That's like if somebody made playing cards with Nazis on them.
Yeah. What are you using these for? Oh, we use them as bounty posters. Why didn't you just make a bounty poster? Because that's lame as fuck. I wanted it to be stylized. Why did you want it to be stylized?
Because it felt cool.
Yeah.
You ever heard of the rule of cool? Yes, but also the rule of cool has to apply some logic.
Fine, it's because we don't know what the guy looks like.
Anyways, so...
Otherwise, we give you a bounty poster.
So, she gives them that and goes, but we're working with the twins, because the twins basically know probably where Coin is, but they won't tell us unless you help them find their nephew, Rada.
Who is...
And so... Din is not as thrilled about this. He's like, I don't want to work for Hutts. And she's like, well, you don't work for Hutts. You work for us. And we're telling you to do this.
Zeb, can I leave? And they're like...
I mean, you could, but... Also, our viewing of our show, our viewing of that in theaters, a lot more people excited about Zeb than in the first showing that I saw it. Which is funny because there were definitely way more Star Wars fans that know who Zeb were. And no, that's not true. There was some excitement in my first showing as well, but definitely some excitement in the second showing.
Yeah. From the row immediately behind us.
Oh yeah, so it turned out one of my friends was behind us, and she was ecstatic about a lot of the stuff going on.
Yeah, she was very happy.
She really loved it. I was, and then when I after we were leaving, I was like, oh, that's who was behind us that whole time, and I was like, oh, I'm glad she enjoyed it. Because I was wondering, I was like, man, this person behind me is really excited about like so many things. They're excited about Zeb every time he pops up on screen. They're excited about they were excited about Carson, Tiva Carson showing up at the end.
Man, because this was like a movie theater, and I am also from the older generation of moviegoers, of you shut up when the movie is playing. I
don't mind that stuff. Like,
yeah, no, that's fine. I was like, I won't talk throughout this entire movie.
I made a couple jokes.
I made none.
But also, this is my second time, so I was like, I was also very appropriate about them. I wasn't like making jokes I just made a couple here and there, and specifically whispered them to you so that way, because I still respect that there are others. But yeah,
Don't get me wrong, it's not that I didn't laugh or anything.
No.
Fucking frog.
Yeah, that frog got you so bad.
Like, I would make...
I had to hold back an even bigger laugh when that happened. I was, like, holding it in. And I was laughing a little bit when that happened, but I was holding it in even more.
Like, I would make gestures during the movie, but I would not talk.
No, and I made the gesture with Dave when Dave showed up. I was like, Dave Filoni. It's him. It's Dave Filoni. Yeah, but no, I like going to a movie and having. I think the crowd we had was good.
Yes,
I like.
It was a little bit like.
It was smaller.
It was smaller than I thought it would be for a Star Wars movie, but then again, Star Wars, like, over the recent years...
has become more TV than movie.
More TV than movie, and also, like, the public opinion is very mixed about Star Wars, regardless of how I personally feel.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not surprised.
I think the average moviegoer still likes Star Wars. It's the hardcores. That's really where the court of public opinion is divisive. But as far as, like, your average moviegoer, I think they like it no matter what, which is, I think, what we got. We got, like, the average... And plus, it's a later... We went to a later showing.
Yeah.
I mean, 7 o'clock, it's, like, the second-to-last movie showings that you're going to have for the day. Like, I think 8 o'clock was the last showings.
And how long has this movie been
It's
out?
like an... Oh, what?
How long has this movie been out?
It just came out this weekend, so...
Okay. Yeah, I figured, like...
I think Friday was a good showing of people because it. I mean, just the Gamers and Geeks group. We were 2 rows.
Oh yeah.
And then there were other like, I wouldn't say it was filled, but it was like filled enough.
It was a decent amount.
This unfortunately, it seems that Mandalorian and Grogu is gonna do about as well as Solo did financially in terms of how much it's making, but it also has a lower budget than Solo.
Yeah.
Solo was $300 million. This is 100-something million. So if it's on the track that it's currently on, Mando should make the money it needs to and be fine. Like, it'll make just enough, and I think they'll be happy with... I think Lucasfilm will be happy with what they get. And also... I think not every Star Wars movie needs to be a $300 to $1 billion budget. Yeah. Hot take. I think this movie looked good for $100 million.
I'm not disappointed with how it looks. The one part that was jarring for me in terms of like looks is when Mandalorian goes to New York.
Oh. Yeah, when he goes to find
I'm
Grotto.
not mad that he went to New York. It was just.
I mean, it's not our first city planet in Star Wars, though. And, I mean, it made me think if I was to like put another Star Wars planet and put it alongside this, I would put it alongside the planet from Obi-Wan, the Milk Planet. What is it, Daiyu or whatever? Yeah, Daiyu. Because that's also kind of a city planet. Mm-hmm. I would put it closer to looking like Daiyu than like Coruscant. Like it's not. Yeah. It's not Coruscant. It's not like it's
Coruscant
not Narshada.
Is clean except for when it isn't.
Yeah, it's not Narshada. It's not. And the only reason not
that was a dumb sentence.
Yeah, and the only reason not Narshada is because like Narshada is similar to Coruscant, has the levels. This is not a leveled city planet, so I would say closer to Daiyu in that regard. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's basically, it looks a lot like this Blade Runner, like, because I made that joke when we got out. It looks like, what was the name? It's Los Angeles, and I guess it was just Los Angeles. For some reason, I thought it was a fiction, like, but yeah, in Blade Runner, it's just Los Angeles and Blade Runner, which I think works for what they were doing. I like the, so Mando agrees to go do the job. And so he gets hired by the New Republic to do that. He kind of reluctantly agrees because he's like, fine, we'll take the ship out for a ride anyways, might as well.
I like the brief lecture he gives to Grogu about the Hutts as they're walking.
Oh, when they get there to Nal Hutta.
He's like, the Hutts can be violent and dangerous. Don't be scared.
So,
although do keep that in mind.
This is another part of my like disagreement with people going like, "Oh, Mando treats him like a pet." No, he's treating him like a son and like he's training him. Like,
yeah,
like okay. The reason for the pet comments from a lot of people is 3 times in this movie he uses heal as a way to stop Grogu from doing to tell him, "Hey, don't do that." But except. That's not that, it's not great parenting, but it is a parenting technique that some parents do employ. Not a great parent technique, but it is one. And generally, though, he's generally teaching Grogu stuff. And in this movie, we actually see Grogu apply those lessons. So that's the part that pisses me off when people are like, oh, Grogu's just a pet. He's just another tool on Mando's tool belt in this movie. No, he's not.
Speaking of pets, Caleb, what happened to Embo's other dog?
He died in Clone Wars. I can pull it up.
You'll have to forgive me. A lot happened.
Merrick. Merrick died in you're talking about Merrick? Yeah, Merrick died in Clone Wars. Oh, no, he didn't. Okay. For some reason, I thought it was during Clone Wars.
Yeah, I was like, this is wrong. He's supposed to have 2 dogs.
Yeah, no, so that's right. By the time of the Battle of Jakku, where did we learn that at? Oh, that's where we learned that Merrick's dead in the Aftermath trilogy, which you haven't read.
Which I haven't read.
I was like, I knew Merrick's dead, so that's why I wasn't surprised that it was a different dog. That it was just Kaibu. Which also is not the other dog that he has in Clone Wars, because there's a... Mm-hmm. So this is his 3rd dog.
Yeah. Because, like, he had 2 dogs in Clone Wars.
One of them does die during Clone Wars, not Merrick, though.
Might have better luck on Enbo's page.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out...
It's been I'm already, trying to refresh here. Sorry, hold on. Was it no. Okay, I guess no. I guess I'm remembering. I'm creating false memories here. Okay, because I can't even find the other.
Maybe we only had 1 dog.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm in fact crazy.
Yeah, you are. You're making me crazy by creating a fictional dog that never existed.
I'm like,
You've implanted. Are you?
Have I been
Are you?
inceptioned?
Yeah, are you inceptioning me?
Not on purpose.
But yeah,
I thought he had 2 dogs.
Yeah, no.
I guess he's only got the 1.
But yeah, Kaibu. Yeah, Kaibu is his current dog. We'll get to that in a second, though. I think that's also why people are making the comparison, because they're like, because of how how Mando talks to Kaibu is very similar to Grogu,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like,
he stops doing it halfway through the movie.
Yeah. So yeah. So
also shit talking Embo in the cell is.
So they go to Nal Hutta to see the twins, and like you said, he gives the little history lesson as well as like, hey, the Hutts are really powerful. They're gonna be, you got to be respectful though while you're here, because while we're their guests,
we are not safe.
Yeah, this is not a safe place. We are in fact in the danger zone.
Who knew allying with the cartel could be dangerous?
And then comes my favorite joke that you can only get if you're a Clone Wars fan or if it's your second time watching this movie.
This is our nephew.
Yeah, this is our nephew, Rata. Yeah, we talked about Embo's first dog dying. We were trying to remember if there was a second dog before this one. There was not.
There was not. I was just crazy. Although he is on his second dog now. And the reason I didn't know that is because it happens in some books I haven't read.
Yeah. Well, specifically just in one, but yeah. It's...
Yes, I am aware.
Yeah, that's what we were already confirming.
Anyhow, Rada's at a growth spurt.
Yeah, because they show the family picture, and they're like, "This is the only picture we have. It's a little baby Rada." And the first time I saw that, I laughed so hard. Because once again, it's a great joke. It's such a good joke. The problem is, It's only a great joke if you've seen the movie before or you know Clone Wars. Which I think makes the joke funnier. And of course, the second time watching it, when I'm watching it with you, I look over and I'm like, I gotta see Seth's reaction to this.
I'm like, oh, he's a little bigger than I remember.
Little stinky.
Yep.
Little stinky. And so he goes to Space New York to go find Rada.
Yeah.
Where he meets Space Martin Scorsese.
Yep. Who at the time, right? I was like, I hadn't seen it. The film before, I was like, it would be really funny
if it turned out
you were the guy we were looking for.
Yeah. Lord Janu.
Janu.
Yeah.
I was like, then it would make sense why A, he doesn't want the money, right? And B, why he knows where everything is.
But also it's a case of, it's just New York, I know where everything is. And also, I'm Martin Scorsese. I even got my eyebrows. I'm Martin Scorsese in space. Yeah, we just haven't read those books on the show. I've read it. It's just been a minute for me. And then he hasn't read it because he just reads things I tell him to for the podcast.
Yep.
Well, we plan to get to it eventually. It's on the schedule.
Might take a while.
Yeah. So he meets up with Space Martin Scorsese, and he's like, I'm looking for a hut. Don't use that word. I'm looking for Rada. Oh, Rada! Why didn't you say so? He's a famous fighter.
Previously established, to answer your question, Grandmaster Solus. For me, it's 9 out of 10.
For me, it's an 8. Yeah, definitely enjoyed it. It's a fun movie. I think anybody who just wants a fun Mandalorian and Grogu going on a bounty hunting adventure, if that's what you want, that's this movie. Just go in it knowing that that's what it is. And I think if you go in knowing that, it makes it easier. But yeah, so they go into the fighting. They go check it out and see that Rada's a muscular hut now.
Yeah.
Rada definitely had that growth spurt. More than a growth spurt. Rada might be the standout character for, like, in this movie. Outside of, obviously, Mando and Grogu, right?
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Mando and Grogu... I said Mandu. Mando and Grogu...
The Mandu.
The Mandu. Outside of Mando and Grogu, I would say that Rada is really a standout in this film. Because he's a really good character now that he's an adult. I want more Rada stories. Mm-hmm. I want to know what Rada is up to after... Well, I want to know how he got into that position. I want to see what happened, like his adventures, because we have so much time that we can show of Rada now.
Yeah.
I want to see what led to him getting into the fighting pits. And then I want to see his adventure. I want to see what he does after the movie. Once again, since we're talking heavy spoilers now, I want to see what happens now that he's part of the New Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think him and Zeb teaming up is going to be...
Yeah.
Which goes into...
Watching Slugs fight was an interesting part of the movie that my brain is still not entirely wrapped its head around.
They were very creative with what to do with him, which goes back into what we were saying when we were being more vague. The fighting in this movie is very well choreographed and well done. Yeah. I think the fights are so good in this.
Yes.
Oh, did I miss something?
Not sure. Didn't see him do anything crazy.
No, I don't. Hey, Pixie, was there something crazy on the YouTube end? He looked fine to me. I don't know why all those got retracted. Anyways. But yeah, I like the fighting in this, and I like that the arena is because I didn't notice it until like the second time.
Mm-hmm.
No, because I know the little twist of the fighting pit, right? Because anyway, before we get to it, so at first Mando and Grogu go to talk to him alone and are like, "Hey, we're gonna rescue you. Let's get out of here." And Rada's like, "Nah, I got like one more fight on my contract, and then I'm free. I'm a free man after this."
So why would I?
And everybody loves me.
Yep.
I'm the fan favorite. After this, I can sign up for any. I can get so many sponsorships and good deals out of this. I'm gonna make bank. And Mando's like, interesting. Let me go find the guy that you work for, this Lord Janu guy. Which then brings him back to Space Martin Scorsese, and that's when you get the clip from the trailer where he's like, "Oh, nope, closed for the day."
I need to find Janu. Mando, okay.
So this is scarier than the Hutts, because the Hutts he didn't even do that.
Goes around the side.
Oh my god, yeah, everybody was laughing at that part when the poor Space Martin Scorsese is using his forearms to hold his kitchen utensils to be like, "I'll fight you," and Mando's like, "Hey, I would disarm if I were you," and he's like, I got 12 little ones smaller than that one," pointing at Grogu.
Yeah, I understand you have a family. Tell me about this Janu guy.
And so he tells him generally, like, everybody works for him because he's the local crime boss. Everybody is forced to basically pay their protection fees. And the protection fees don't always go in the same drop location. But here's, like, a couple of the drop locations that he's gone.
You know what I was thinking once we actually meet Janu? My brain was like, "Nice to meet you, Mr. Fisk."
He does look a little...
Your ears look a little bit worse for wear, but you know, if I had to deal with Spider-Man every other week...
Yeah.
And the rest of New York...
And Daredevil and...
And Daredevil, and presumably the Punisher, because everyone in the same neighborhood.
Yeah. But no, I mean, and so, like, I
Is he in the... No, he wouldn't be.
Like the actor, or
no, at the start of the movie where that guy got shot. But then my brain was like, no,
he can't be because we don't know
for that planet.
Yep, and we don't know where. Like, and these, like, we understand based off of. I thought that when I saw the trailer, I was like, or when I saw the opening credits, I was like, is he the one who plays Coin? Yeah. So his last name actually is Coin, and he plays Coin. And then of course the guy from The Bear plays Rada. The music. We should have talked about this in the spoiler-free section, or the light spoiler section.
Yeah.
The music in this movie.
Oh yeah.
The way they use the Mando score in unique ways while also having new music, I think is really good. I like the opening sequence when they're returning to Adelphi, and we get the like dun 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 dun, and it's almost like an old school like opening movie credits. Because I think, interestingly enough, while the Solo movie is not as well loved as it deserves to be, in my opinion, it set up a precedent for saga movies to do how they do the opening, which is we get the text on screen to kind of set up where we're at, and then we go into the movie, which is still very Star Wars-y to do. You just don't do an opening crawl. Whereas Rogue One didn't do that. It just did a little cold open and then went straight into the movie. It didn't have any text on screen. So I think it's interesting that Solo, while it's the film that is considered a failure financially, it's the one that has set up a precedent for what non-saga films I think are going to do going forward, because Mando did it now. Because we haven't had a non-saga... Mando is the first... It has
a very brief opening text crawl.
Well, that's what...
Two paragraphs.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not That's what I'm saying. It doesn't do an actual opening crawl, though. Like, it does the text thing, is what I'm saying, which is what Solo does. Solo does the text thing.
Okay.
Rogue One does not. So, 2 out of 3, because we've only ever had 3 non-saga Star Wars movies. As of now. So I think I like the idea that the non-saga Star Wars movies still have text on screen. They just don't do the big crawl. Because they're not the saga, right? I do think, like, anything that plans to be, like, a trilogy, though, should do the crawl. But, like, in the case of these, like, one-offs...
The little standalones.
Yeah. I think this is fine. So I think, like, when we get the new Jedi Order films, I think those should have opening crawls. I think Starfighter should be similar to this, where we just have a little text. But I did like, after, when they're coming back, I do like that it feels like an old movie, where, like, the credits were at the beginning, and you get the... and then they use the theme song that way. And it almost felt like a Top Gun sort of thing, too,
Haven't watched Top Gun, don't intend to.
well, more of like just the fighter pilot thing, because with how it, like, we get the theme song and then it's them flying the X-Wings, the shot that you see in the trailer, and then you get like Zeb and Mando and Grogu doing a heroic walk out of the... But also kind of tired heroic walk, because they're like, we did the job, but not to the best we could have. Yeah. But anyways, going back to where we are in the story. So we learn that Mando hunts along with Grogu, hunt down where Coin is at one of his, like, the drop-offs that they were told about. And they run into... I was pulling up the article because I wanted to figure out... I was trying to remember the name of the guy, Coin's little sidekick. Hog's Breath. Which also I want to double check this. Iktachi, that's... Yeah, I was going to say it's not a Deveronian because they don't have horns like that. Iktachi, yeah. I knew it was the same race as Sassy 10. I just couldn't relate where you've seen Saucy 10 before.
I know why.
He's one.
You don't make it.
Yeah, he's one of the few that was at the confrontation of Palpatine.
Yeah, I think he dies first.
He's one of the first. Yeah, him and Kit Fisto are like the first to go. But yeah, no. So I like having... So he confronts, like, Hog's Breath, which is, like, kind of putting on a front that they might be Lord Janu as like the security measure thing. But Mando sees through that and is like, nope, I need to talk to your boss.
Yeah.
And so we get another cool fight sequence.
You don't get to see the boss, Mando. All right. Well, since I've tried being reasonable, it is now time to make a scene.
Which the fight ends when Mando cuts one of Hog's Breath's horns a little bit, which got a bigger reaction the first showing I saw it in. The second time, less people, I guess, noticed or, like, realized that ugh, because you could see the blood. It just wasn't bleeding out because it's a bone, so you saw, like, the little circle of blood, like you would in a bone marrow.
It's like, I don't know if Iktachi horns grow back. I don't think they do. Also, how hard did you fucking swing that knife? It did oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
I brought this up in the car last night. We don't see a lot of people just getting regularly stabbed in Star Wars. This film, man, a lot of people get stabbed, including... No, Din gets bit, not stabbed. It's not for lack of trying from other people, though.
That's when Lord Janu comes out, though. And is like, hey, it's all cool. I'll see him. Come in the back, Mandalorian. You're very rare around here.
Then I will fight everyone in the bar if I have to.
He's like, look, we don't got to do that. You can work for me. In fact, I'll let you in on the secret. We're killing Rada in the next match.
Then, no, I'm not going to fight for you.
Yeah, I love the way that Din does that, because, so, on this planet, apparently, like, salt is rationed by the government, and so Lord Janu's reason he, I guess, rose to prominence is because he sells salt, and so, but of course, every other planet's salt is not this rare commodity, so it's cheap. But basically after the little agreement, because Din doesn't immediately tell him no. Like, he doesn't go, okay, he just kind of is quiet when Janu's, like, making the offer of, take your money, go bet on Rada dying, make more money, and also here's a little salt rock as extra payment. And then, as he's walking out, he drops the salt rock in Hog's Breath's drink, which I think is great. I also love things that I catch the second time I'm watching, which is the guy getting stitches put in as Mando's walking by him. This is why I like rewatching movies, because there's things you'll catch, and I'm like, because, like, obviously, yeah, I caught the, like, everybody's get all beat up, but, like, they're already working to put stitches in a guy, and I'm like, that's funny.
How frequently does this happen that you just have a guy for stitches on retainer?
And so...
I also like that Grogu jumped up to the top.
Oh, during the fight?
Yeah,
to
like
stay out of it?
immediately before the fight started.
Yeah, Grogu knew.
He was like, oh no, Dad's gonna do the thing.
Grogu's like, I'll stay out of this. Also, at the beginning of the movie, we didn't talk about it, Din gets to give his line... Oh, no. He uses it later.
Several times.
Yeah, he uses it several times, but he uses it at the beginning. Do you want to come in warm or cold line? And yeah. I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold. Cold it was for that first guy. Yep.
It's a break again. I know. I know, it's fine, we've got this.
Dad, it's just Grogu going, Dad, there's bombs! Dad, there's bombs!
I know, it's fine, we've got him!
Dad, they're gonna go! Once again, this is why it's a father-son relationship. Yeah. I don't get the pet remark as much. Over one comment that he says. Like, sure, he says it a few times, but, like... He does, yeah. And yes, he does use Grogu a little bit like a tool in this case, because we're about to point out how he gets back into Rada's cell after this, because it's locked this time, so they have Grogu go in an open window. They do the open window, go around and open it thing. And so, but also, like, that makes sense to me. Like, I'm thinking, oh, this is part of Grogu's training. He's smaller, so of course, as like a fellow Mandalorian bounty hunter thing, this would be a trick that Grogu could use that not other bounty hunters could use. This time though, Rada just straight up calls the guards on them, and they get gassed because unfortunately, Mando does not always pressurize his suit.
No.
Only sometimes.
Only when the plot demands it.
Technically.
But also, like, why would you?
Yeah, unless you're like, you're going into space or underwater. Like, yeah. So, the reason that Rada doesn't want to go, because we didn't say that yet, the reason Rada is refusing to go with Mando, on top of the, hey, I'm gonna make so much money soon anyways, I'll be fine.
Last fight is tomorrow.
Yeah. It's because the twins, as far as what Rada is telling him, the twins want Rada dead because Rada's heir to the throne for the Hutt cartel, because Jabba's only heir. Yeah. But also, Rada's like, I don't fucking want it.
Yeah. But they
Twins can have it, but they don't. That's not going to stop them from killing me.
Yeah, but they won't believe me even if I told them.
And so they wake up with Mando in the fighting ring. Essentially, he's in the outskirts of it, but he's in the fighting ring.
Yeah.
And then Grogu is in a cage, because they made a remark about, because Hog's Breath mentioned that he'd look good in a cage like the pets that Janu keeps.
Hog's Breath is a jerk.
Yeah.
And also Janu.
So, now I can talk about it, because we revealed because they called the death match a Dejaric match. The fighting pit is a Dejaric board. It's just a Dejaric board. It's the small details like this that are really nice to notice, and it's really cool because it's like, oh, you were alluding to this before you told us, because we saw the fighting pit once before we get the reveal, and then on top of that, so then Mando and Rada are forced to fight. Mando wins, but then he decides, hey, I'm surrendering. Actually, Rada wins.
Yeah.
Which means his contract's over and he's free.
Yep.
Loophole. And Janu's like, yes, he is free to die. Flip switch, let all the monsters in. Mm-hmm. And it's the Dejaric board monsters.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we saw in the trailer, but now we know why they're there.
Yeah.
Cause,
also, what a horrible time to be in Shikiri?
Yeah, Shikari, I think.
Shikari.
Yeah.
What a horrible day to be in Shikari after this.
Let me double check. Yeah, Shikari. Yep.
Because of what happens after.
It goes from space. It goes from like the Gladiator
to monsters in New York real fast.
Yeah, I was gonna compare it to like a Godzilla or something. Yeah, it's just monsters in New York because Mando and Rado have to work together. They fight some of the monsters. They actually kill one of them, and then one of them is an electric type, and Rada ends up throwing it into the electric fence that was keeping them and the monsters inside the arena, which then shuts the power to the entire arena, meaning the monsters are free. So Janu and Hog's Breath are like, time to get the fuck out of here, while panic in the city happens. And
Hog's
then
Breath having a decent understanding of how shit goes south. All right, boss, we're leaving.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, you're good. and then
as a good henchman does, sometimes you tell your boss, yeah, instead of gloating, we're just gonna walk away.
Yep. So then Rada and Mando and Grogu run out. We get Grogu in his little baby basket thing, because we learned that it was a little Rodian that was in it originally, but the Rodian mama was like, time to run.
Yep.
Good mama.
Good mom.
We can buy another basket.
Yep. Can't buy another Rodian.
Not in the New Republic, anyways.
Not in the New Republic.
Maybe in the Empire.
Maybe in the Empire. Do not take parenting advice from the Empire. It's very bad.
And so Rada then uses this chance to be like, actually, I'm not going back. Bye, Mando. And so Mando and Grogu have to chase him. Even though Rada is starting to like Grogu at this point. He's already fed him some snacks.
I'm not like my dad.
He's already relating to Grogu as like, I used to be a little guy just like him, and I see myself in this little guy, and I also see that you're a much better dad, but also I ain't going back.
Yeah, I'm not going back to that.
So which leads to a chase sequence, with the monsters all still chaos. Man, those monsters don't get solved, by the way. Shikari
has to deal with its own problems.
Because Mando catches Rada thanks to Zeb pulling the ship up in front of them. And then they're like, all right, we got you. And then Mando handcuffs them, too, which I thought was really funny. He does a little cop bump into the car, too. I'm like, Mando, are we pulling this for real? I didn't know we were like this, Din. But we bring it... So, thankfully, the Razor Crest is a bigger ship and can handle a Hutt.
Yeah.
And so they have him
My first thought was, Mando, I think those cuffs are just for show. I don't think they could actually stop Rada if he really wanted.
Yeah, you think it's like a kingpin situation? He could just...
Yeah. I think, however, Rada's like, oh, thank God he didn't just shoot me.
Yeah, because, I mean, when
I-
Din first showed up, he was like, oh, are you here to kill me? Because, like,
Yeah.
if you're talking Huttese and you're greeting me and you're obviously a bounty hunter, more than likely my aunt and uncle sent you, and they want to kill me.
Yeah, and Mando is like, well, I prefer to... They sent me here to rescue you, so... No.
But, so, this is where the shoe drops of what actually is going on. And we learn that Coin and Janu are the same person.
Mm-hmm.
Because Rada's... Basically, at first, Rada still thinks that Din is working for the Hutts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Din is like, no. I don't work for slime like that.
Yeah.
I'm working for the New Republic. Your aunt and uncle are just giving me information that I need for where an ex-Imperial named Koinor is. And Rada's like, oh, my aunt and uncle were gonna fuck you over. Coin and Janu are the same person. And then...
two brief additional details.
Yeah.
One is more just fun with a Martin Scorsese character.
Yeah.
Din paying because, like...
Oh, because Grogu keeps eating...
Keeps developing a tab at Scorsese's shop.
Yeah.
And on this one, during the, like, ride over, he's basically like, oh... If I let you out, if I take off the handcuffs, are you gonna not be crazy?
Oh, yeah. And he's kind of, like, ignoring, like, everything that Rada's saying up until that point, yeah.
He does, like, uncuff him regardless, because it's like, what is...
Yeah.
He's already...
It's like you're not going anywhere, you're on a ship, and
anywhere.
we're about to go into hyperspace.
Yeah. And this is not exactly an environment where you can fight me in. And
Also,
even in that one, I still...
Also, you can't get into the cockpit.
So... We can talk.
And so... Because it also shows Din's more...
Personal.
I was going to say, like, kind, but I think there's probably a better side to it, word to it. But his kind side where he's a little more...
He's taking the approach a reasonable person should.
Yeah. So, like... and so... Din's like, you know what? Might as well check it out. Because, like, Rada also adds that the reason he knows that Coin and Janu are the same person is Janu took him to his mansion and to celebrate a big win, and there were a bunch of stormtroopers there guarding it.
He's like, yeah, there are a lot of them. How many? A lot, man. I didn't keep track.
And Rada makes the right call of going, you're a bounty hunter, you know you can tell when people are lying to you. Am I lying?
Zeb, we're going to check this out.
Yeah. And it turns out Rada was not lying. And we get another cool action sequence. We get man... Because they I also like that Grogu also takes the spyglass to look to see the stormtroopers.
This is how you scout a place out.
Yeah. I also like that Grogu is communicating without saying words, and you can actually kind of understand what he's saying most of the time still throughout the film. I mean, he'll do the head nods and shakes, but he'll also like make noises, and you can still kind of understand the basics of what he's trying to get across. And so they're like, "All right, well, you're gonna need more than 2 people to arrest this guy." And Zeb's like, "Oh, is that a challenge?"
And Zeb took that personally.
Yeah. Zeb said, "All right, 2 it is." And sure enough, they managed to get him in and out with just 2. Coin accepts the coming in warm. Coin's like, I'm not coming in cold. Also, Hog's Breath gets shot.
Hog's Breath gets shot. He does a pretty good showing.
He pulls a Scarface and kills one of Coin's birds, but he just goes poof into feathers.
Fucking chokeslam Mando and got stabbed for it. I think that was one of the, like, I was only ever concerned with Mando's safety twice in this movie. That's one of them. Because I was like, how fucking strong do you have to be?
It's the other one, the dragon snake.
Yeah.
That dragon snake fight. I love the dragon snake sequence.
Because, like, Hog's Breath, how strong do you have to be to, like, pick up a fully armored Mandalorian and throw him with, like, one hand?
Yeah. So they bring Coin back after some.
I don't think he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, some shenanigans with the ship where they try to get Grogu to start the ship. Instead, Grogu sets off the missiles twice. I think that second one was on purpose, by the way, because the first one you can argue accidental, and then Mando's like, "Hey, don't do that. There's a reason. There's a safety switch above it before you hit the button." And Grogu flips the safety switch and goes. Second one, I'm like, okay, now that's on purpose. Maybe some covering fire is what Grogu was thinking. But they bring Janu back, and Sigourney Weaver is mixed about it. Not happy because the Hutts are going to be pissed, because the New Republic's been trying to line up being in the Hutts' good side for a minute.
It was like... my brain was like, there's only 2 Hutts left. That's not much of a good side to...
Yeah, because the Hutts the Hutts don't have living... Sorry, we do see that they have some living followers in the film later, but when we first see them, they only have the droid cartels working for them as their guns.
Yeah, the droid Gatra.
Yeah, the droid Gatra. Just trying to remember something here. Okay, yeah, they haven't been in stuff they only appeared in Hidden Empire 1. I was going to say, I remember hearing them on other things before. I think the only other thing we did that had them mentioned was Afra and then Hidden Empire. But yeah, so yeah, they have the droid Gatra as their, like, muscle. And so, there's other Hutts, because we see a bunch of other ones. But as far as, like, a cartel, they're not that big anymore. They're kind of the weakest cartel, actually, at this point, as far as we can tell.
Whereas the Pike's Baby Jobbers, the Hutts have, like, not much going on anymore.
Yeah. They're kind of doing well just on the leftover infamy from Jabba alone. And they're kind of running out of that as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Like, we're starting to hit a point where there is no goodwill from the other cartels soon at this point. Because even Coin was building a bigger cartel than them.
Yeah.
So Sigourney Weaver's like, okay, well, I guess it's whatever, because you brought a guy in that is going to give us information, and this is Coin. So, good job, I guess.
Good job.
But be careful.
Yeah.
Because the Hutts won't be happy about it.
And they aren't.
Yeah, because what's funny is Mando tells her his theory, and he is 100% right about what the twins were up to. Like 100% right on the money. He goes, yeah, the twins basically were gonna play both sides. They were gonna let me bring Rada back to them so they could kill him, and then they were gonna tell me where Coin was and reveal that it was Janu. I would double back, and while I'm doubling back, they'd call Coin and let him know that I was coming, and then they'd get paid by both of us. And that's exactly what the twins were up to.
Yep.
Except maybe a little more nefarious, because it turns out they were like more in line with the Empire than with the newer, like, even like it's less of a playing both sides and more of we're on the Empire's side. According to what we learn at the end, thanks to Coin's information. And so now Din's like, all right, for real, I'm going on a hiatus. I'm taking my.
I'm done.
I'm taking.
I'm clocking out.
I'm taking my time off.
And once again, Sigourney Weaver's like, you can do that anytime you want. You're not.
And so we get to see them go back to the Navarro homestead. It's nice seeing the homestead. It's nice seeing Navarro. It's sad that we'll never see Grief Karga again. Because of the obvious.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Carl Weathers. We'll never see Grief Karga again. Didn't even get an IG-11 as the Marshall scene. But that's okay. We got the Anzellans. We also get a really nice scene of, once again, Rada kind of relating to Grogu. And going like, he's a good kid. When I was his age, I was alone, which makes me also think that because Hutts also live a very long lifespan, similar to Yoda's species, the Grogu Yoda species. We don't have a name for it. Similar to Grogu species, it makes me wonder if is Rada 50 during the Clone Wars? Who's to say now?
How long do Hutts live?
I can double check. Actually, we might have official information on how old Rada is. Okay, no, he is a fresh baby.
24 and
He's like a 3-year-old in.
Okay.
So 3 to 5-year-old during Clone Wars.
So.
But we know they live a long lifespan because they mention it in the third act of the film, or no, in the second act, because when they were about to get to it. So the twins had our boy Embo keeping an eye on Mando.
Hold on. I'm doing the math for Rada's age.
Oh, his current age?
Yeah.
Do we count 0 BBY and then 0 ABY as 2 different years?
There's... Okay, so...
That's where I get lost on the math.
He's in his 30s.
Okay, because that's where I get lost on the math. Do we count 0 ABY and 0 BBY as 2 different years?
He's like 32 to 35.
Yeah. Is that making 0 8?
I was like, what's
Did
22
you count 0
plus
once?
9?
Oh, okay. So you counted 0 once.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious about that, because I'm always curious. Do we count 0 ABY and then 0 BBY
So
as 2 different years?
either 31 or 33.
Let me double check that.
0... What?
Okay, they are at least in Legends. Hold on, because that's Legends.
Alright.
my god, this is so confusing. Okay, so 0 BBY has been abolished from what we can see. So it is just 1 year now. Okay. So it's just basically we have A New Hope as our 0 point, and then that's it. That there is no like transitional year. Got it. So anything before A New Hope is 1 BBY, and then we hit 0 with A New Hope, and then go. Okay, yep, okay. That answers that. Doesn't answer how long Hutts can live in general, but we know they can live a long time because Jabba's alive during the High Republic era. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, he is born 600 BBY. So he's 604 when he dies.
Okay, so they're going to be...
So they have about the same aging scale. So that's why my question is legitimate. My question was...
species is like a little bit slower.
Yeah. But my question was a legitimate question. It's just been a minute of like knowing if we had a confirmed date on Rada or not. Because it's been a minute since I've had to research that. But also, like, one, having that confirmed date doesn't mean that Hutts can't still appear as babies in their 50s. The math still could come out to that. Maybe, really, realistically, maybe their 20s. We don't know the length, the furthest a Hutt has lived. We know Jabba is 604, though. So that at least gives us a good, like... Baseline. That tells us... That's only 300 years beneath Yoda.
Yeah, and he was murdered, so...
Yeah, so he could have lived longer, for all we know. We don't know what he could have...
We can't use any of the other Hutts, because he killed them.
And the twins are younger than him.
Yeah.
So... Alright.
Anyway,
Speaking of the twins... they had Imbo track Mando down, because they are pissed about that. So, Mando has... Rada sent on a gunship to go find somewhere else to live, so that way the twins can't find him. That night, Imbo and his dog attack the homestead. The Anzellans were there spending the night because they were helping repair the Razor Crest to make some changes to make it a little faster and stuff, because during the escape with Coin, they had to rip out the control panel because it was blocking a lot of the stuff that makes the Razor Crest be able to go faster. It made it legal, and Mando's like, no, I want that shit illegal. Give me the NOS.
I want my streetcar.
Yeah. I want my Winnebago to go fast. It's essentially a...
Yeah.
I think the cute part when they first bring the Razor Crest back in is, and he always gets a reaction both times I've seen the movie, when Grogu finds his little bed, and he's just jumping on his bed, and it's like, "Hey, Dad, I found my room." Essentially, it's essentially when you go house hunting and the kids are like, "This is my room," and you're like, "Well, fuck, now I have to keep it."
Yeah.
To be fair, that is the room that Din would hide Grogu in the old Razor Crest.
Yeah.
Anytime he had to hide him, he was like, in you go. Gotta hide you from Space Bill Burr. It's okay, Space Bill Burr's not as bad now. He shot up some guys. He didn't like when the Imperials did war crimes.
Most people usually don't.
That doesn't stop a lot of the Imperials from staying in the Empire. Bill Burr at least had some he was like...
some morals.
He was like, look, you got my friends killed during your war crimes, so fuck the Empire. Anyways, so Imbo manages to capture Din while Grogu and the Anzellans sneak off. One of the Anzellans getting captured by the dog.
Mm-hmm.
By Ty. I had the name earlier. Taibu. And so I'm trying to figure out which Anzellan it is. We don't get a name. Upsetting. But yeah, so Grogu goes full on, we're gonna go save my dad, and equips the armor and everything, which we got a cute little sequence of Mando teaching him how to equip that. Of like, alright, you strap it on, you make sure it's not too tight, but it shouldn't be too loose either. Like, you don't want it sliding off of you, but you don't want it restricting your movement. Mm-hmm. Once again, Mando being a dad. And so we then get a fun little sequence of kind of side-by-side events going on with Din being brought before the twins, and them basically threatening Grogu and also taking his helmet, which gets a really cold line from Din. Because they're like, yes, it will be impressive to have killed you, but it's also even more impressive to have shamed you as a Mandalorian by taking your helmet. And Din's like, yeah, that doesn't matter if I kill you, though. But then they threaten Grogu, and just as he's about to kill them for that, they... I mean, that's the part that pisses him off more than the helmet.
Yeah.
He's like, I can live with the helmet being taken off. I can go take a bath anytime now.
And then the Hutts do the Hutt classic of monster fight, go now.
Yeah, hit the button, trapdoor fall beneath you. And so they end up with a water snake, a dragon snake. Well, first we get a bunch of their minions. The Angari or something like that. What was it?
Choice models, events, locations, organizations, and titles.
Amani. The Amani. Yep. There it is. Yeah, so the Amani, which I thought I'd seen before somewhere. Oh, were they in the... Yeah, I was remembering where I'd seen them most recently. They're in the Unfinished Clone Wars arc. On the Utapau stuff. That's right. I was like, where have I seen them most recently? I was like, because they've been in other stuff. First appearance being in Return of the Jedi, though. Which is why they're here, I guess. Also, yeah, I forgot to talk about Mando shit talk. Yeah, on the way to the twins, he does his little shit talk with Embo. Embo just goes, nah. Electric.
Yeah, I'm tired of hearing you talking.
Also, you gave my dog a treat, and my dog doesn't eat that type of stuff. I don't give my dogs cookies like that, man. Yeah. That's not cool. Can't be giving another guy's dogs treats. Especially without asking. Yeah. Can't be doing that, man.
Man, my dog could have been allergic, you jerk.
I can't be mad at Embo even in this film.
Yeah. Like, Embo's got Embo's one of the more, like, reasonable bounty hunters, you know?
Like, sure, he'll work for the bad guy, but also, it's just a job to him.
Yeah, a lot of, like, the good bounty hunters are like, this is a 9 to 5 and I am not working overtime.
Yeah. And then,
And then you've got the psychos, like that one from Corellia and the Boba Fett.
The Ariadu, you mean?
The Ariadu.
Yeah.
Not Corellia.
Yeah.
Where she's just like, I love killing. I'm like, alright, great.
So, meanwhile, Grogu and the Anzellans, they're flying in. They find their Anzellan buddy because that was captured because he snuck away thanks to Mando giving a treat. Mando said, "You want a cookie? I'll trade you a cookie for that Anzellan." Dog didn't like that still. Dog said, "I want my chew toy back." And Zellan said, "I ain't a chew toy." And so we're way past time.
Yeah.
So I guess talk about dragon fight, and then we'll kind of dragon snake fight, and we'll kind of quick fight talk this. Grogu and Anzellans do manage to sneak in through the pipes. Meanwhile, the best sequence in this movie happens, which is the dragon snake. This is like I think this is where most of the budget went. Is this fight? And
you know, I know that it says full spoiler review, but we can just stop here and they can go and watch the second half of the movie themselves.
That's true. I will say the second half we get what I called a Jim Henson Muppet film for a third of the film real quick, and then and it might be the best part of the movie outside of the fights. And it kind of leads into my argument that Grogu has his own like character growth, because we see that finally in that sequence.
Yeah. I'd say that is because I know this isn't, I'd say that's the start of where Act 2 and the stopping.
Would you say that is kind of a good like story arc though, is seeing Grogu do that?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of really liked seeing that, and that was kind of my favorite moment, just because I was like, oh, Grogu's getting character growth and actually doing stuff. And anyways, I guess while we said full spoilers for the most part, we will kind of leave it here, because this film is too good, and it just came out this week.
And we lied to you.
Yeah, we lied a little bit.
Pray we do not lie further.
I think this is a good lie, though. This is a case of, we like the movie a lot, and that's why we want to talk about every little bit of it. We could do it like
we are on a time.
Yeah, like we could theoretically do another hour of this, but it's already 4 where we are.
Yeah,
and I also don't know how much worse the rain's been getting. I know it's been on and off, and I do not want to have us worry about that. And also, we haven't had lunch. Next week, though. Well, I'll talk about next week in a second.
First, we gotta tell them about our friends.
Yeah. Man. Thank you all for watching today's episode of Escape Reality Star Wars Talk. If you really like our content, you can check out our Patreon, which is at Escape Reality Films. Shout out to Jennifer Brantley.
Yo.
You can also support us by becoming a member of our YouTube channel. Shout out to Pixie Nixie and her shared channel with Zach, the Goof Goblins.
They're goofy.
Both the Patreon and YouTube memberships give you access to our content before they're released publicly on YouTube, as well as other extra goodies, including pages from my new comic book, Super Worlds, with amazing art by M Arts, where I have been adapting the short story Shadows of the Night from my Super Universe short story collection. And the last page dropped this last Wednesday, so this upcoming Wednesday, no page, but the week after we'll get a page. We got to see a little bit more of the flashback sequence from that story in this last page. We're going to get more of that. We're going to get a little bit of maybe a fight sequence soon. But yeah, if you'd like to be a part of our community, you can also check out our Discord, which is linked wherever you're watching. Friends of ours.
Yes, every other Sunday from 5 to 7 Central Standard Time, you can catch some friends of ours over at the Trials of Naboo at the Steam Dungeon on YouTube. They're out of the dungeon, they're not exploring, they're kind of like recuperating with their allies in the desert.
And also, shout-outs to our mods. Shout-out to Buttercup.
Thank you.
And shout-out to Pixie Nixie.
Thank you as well.
Make sure y'all go check out Pixie's Twitch channel as well. She does some amazing stuff. She's a variety streamer, so go check her out there on Twitch. And like I said, go check out the Goof Goblins. Check out their YouTube channel, because I edit their videos, so by supporting them, you're supporting me. Once again, though, thank you all for watching. Join us next week for the finale of this season of the podcast, where Seth and I get to play Seth's favorite game, the timeline game.
When does this happen?
Yeah, when did this happen in Star Wars? So I'll have the whiteboard out next week. Alright. Y'all have a good one. I've spoken.
Y'all be safe out there.
Bye.